are at Poplar and St. Nick. We're at a little log cabin. They call it the Spirit Shop. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I want people to see a feat in engineering. When you're outside, you have no concept of all that is in this place to attest to what I say. Packed from floor to ceiling would be Brett Norsworthy, and Brett Norsworthy is like he's always on truth serum. The man never speaks incorrectly about anything. Am I telling the truth?
You are telling the truth, Dave Woloshin, and we got the spirits high at the Spirit Shop.
We do. It's golf week. Daryl Smith's going to join us here at 3:30, and we just, I know you were out there all day. I'll hear your stories. You can really tell me how that golf course is setting up. We did see Phil Mickelson arrive. I saw a video of him on the driving range, and he said he just loved this golf course and Memphis too much not to come again. I believe this is his 8th time that he has made it to Memphis. He was toying after he did not make the cut at Royal Portrush of maybe taking some time off because he's not playing well. He's hoping this will be chicken soup for him because it's been a rough slate since he won much earlier in the year. We did know, and I had a feeling this would be the case yesterday when we even checked with Jack Sammons, Shane Lowry, who was the winner at Royal Portrush and apparently has been, I think, maybe in every tavern in Ireland so far. He decided not to come. I don't know if that's hangover, elation,
could be all the above.
Just total exhaustion from all the partying and whatever it was. But the Open champion will not be here. So really, 2 of the 4 majors, Tiger Woods, Shane Lowry, not coming. But 45 of the top 50 is still pretty darn impressive.
And 2 of the 4 gobbled up by one person being,
Brooks.
Well, Brooks Koepka won the U.S. Open last year, but Gary Woodland. So we got 2 of the 4 individuals here this year. Phil Mickelson, you're right, it will be his 8th trip through Memphis. Missed the cut the first time he played here in 2001. He's had 2 times he's been tied for second, tied for third one other time, 9th as well, and 11th, a 59. T59. He's going to make the cut this weekend, as they all will. He'll be playing Saturday and Sunday regardless, and it's good to have him back. He was good to this town and this tournament for a long time.
Just to give you the lineup, we've got Open and not top story and not top story coming your way. In just a couple minutes, it will be earlier than Eddie Connor, who owns this fantastic establishment, is going to join us. And I should point out, while we're at that, we've got 2 tastings that we're doing today. One is a $30 straight rye whiskey, 3 years old. It's called Riverset Straight Rye, and it looks good. I'm not going to be able to try it until after the show. Obviously, the other is the High Note. It's really called Blue Note. Blue Note Bourbon Premium Small Batch, 9 years old. This is a $53 bottle, and from now until 7, they are doing a whiskey tasting for all of you who want to try it here at the Spirit Shop, Poplar and St. Nick. We've got 2 things that we're going to draw for. The Butcher Shop will do at 5:45 right at the end of the show. 2 one-day tickets to the World Golf Championship FedEx St. Jude Invitational. So we got those 2, and we're probably going to throw something else in there with 1 or 2 of these things that
maybe
you can win.
Surprises.
All you've got to do is come in. You can even try the whiskey or the rye. Just come on in, do a little tasting, register, and you could win Butcher Shop, which is a $50 certificate to the Butcher Shop, or 2 tickets to Sunday's final round of the WGC FESJI. So we're going to do that. Those are the giveaways. We'll throw in some other stuff along the way. It is going to be a very, very fun day. We mentioned Daryl Smith will be joining us at 3:30. At 4 o'clock, Brent Beard will join us. We'll talk college football because it's getting ever closer. So is the NFL. Beau Marchant will join us. And I got to tell you, we have 2 pairs that we're giving away. So we've got those 2 pairs plus the Butcher Shop. So we are really cruising here. That is for sure. And I mentioned at 5 o'clock, Beau Marchant will join us. And, man, I've got a little bone to pick with this committee. So It used to be in ESPN. The guy's moved to The Athletic. The guy who puts this poll together, he talks to 55 coaches and NFL execs. It's very disconcerting. Where do you think my quarterback, and you know who that is, where do you think he is rated out of the 32 starting quarterbacks?
I'm just guessing, haven't seen this, I'm going to say 24.
25. You have Mitch Trubisky that low. You know,
I think he's
I
better
used to
than
have
that,
this
but
conversation with Peter all the time. We talked about NFL quarterbacks, and I do think he's right. Backup NFL quarterbacks are not very good.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a great supply of those. But if Mitch Trubisky is 25, we got a lot of good starting quarterbacks.
Well, they do. And you have to, or you have no chance.
The last one, 32, the chosen Rosen. Josh Rosen. Who do you think's won?
Either Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers.
You're correct. Which one would you pick?
I'd pick Tom Brady.
They picked Aaron Rodgers.
Rings matter.
Yeah. No, but this is for this year.
Okay.
This is how they think they're
Drew
going to
Brees
perform
3
this year. Drew Brees is 3, Pat Mahomes 4, Andrew Luck is 5. So they are thinking Andrew Luck is going to come back all the way.
Russell Wilson in that list?
Russell Wilson is in that list. They go – so what they do is they take all these points. They've got a whole formula to do it. And usually, like, the top tier is supposed to be 5. This year, the top tier was 8, and Russell Wilson was the 8th ranked quarterback. Aaron Rodgers 1, Tom Brady 2, Drew Brees 3, Patrick Mahomes 4, Andrew Luck 5, Phillip Rivers 6, Ben Roethlisberger 7, Russell Wilson 8.
Matt Stafford?
Matt Stafford is 11. Matt Ryan's 9, and Carson Wentz is 10. Deshaun Watson 12. Jared Goff 13. Baker Mayfield 14. Cam Newton 15. Kirk Cousins 16. Would you have Kirk Cousins above Mitch Trubisky?
On the field, how much more has Deshaun Watson really done than Mitch Trubisky?
Not much.
In the NFL.
Not much.
And going into this year,
I agree. But, these are projections, and these are 55 coaches and execs that I'm assuming GMs, personnel guys that make these
A lot of lists
calls.
out, aren't they?
Yeah. Fun to look at. They don't really mean anything unless your guy is 1.
Or 24.
We don't like that part of it.
This hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers right now on 2019 models and always on special lease options. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great in a Lexus as well. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500, and you will be looking and driving great. Lexus of Memphis, the highest standards in the industry. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, that's the combination. At the WGC, we've got Phil, who came, lefty on the range. Well, he lost those 15 pounds. He has not put any of them back on.
Crash diet.
Of course, he's wearing dark. Of course, the weather today, you could wear black and not worry about it. I felt like San Diego out there. That was right in
nice.
Phil's wheelhouse.
Early this morning was great. It was nice all day, but early this morning it was delightful.
So the combination of Phil being here and Shane Lowry, not really surprising, but is not coming. He's decided he's going to stay in the UK.
My top story of the day, 3 games in the all-important loss column is all that separates 1, 2, and 3 in the National League Central. Cubs in San Fran against the hottest team in baseball, Milwaukee at home against Cincinnati, and St. Louis in Pittsburgh. It feels like at least 2 of those will be in some playoff mix, and maybe all 3. I doubt all 3 can, though.
Here is what is bothersome to me about your top story. It's true. I really felt like the Cubs were poised. They were hot.
Shake loose a little
bit. They can't win away from Wrigley.
Yeah.
They just can't. They play 670 ball away at home. They can't seem to pull away. They had a chance, and every time they lose, and this is true the last 2 games, The Cardinals and the Brewers both win a 3-game lead, not down to 1.
Well, the among many things, a lot of race cars too. The peril of 3 teams in there. It's hard for both of the other 2 teams to lose on the night you lose. At least one's either gaining some ground or staying within hailing distance.
Yeah, well, it's hailing on the Cubs is what it's doing.
But San Francisco, one of the conundrums you can be in, because Mad Bum, he's out there tonight. He got hurt.
If I were a Giants fan and they traded him like they were going to, I'd be mad as the dickens because they're in the race.
Can you sell your fan base? We're doing this for better days ahead. Can you do that to Bruce Bochy his last year?
I'm going to tell you, I have a hard time, seriously, tanking when you still have a chance. If you want to tank at the end and rid your assets for the future when you've got no hope this year, but if you're throwing in a towel now, I'm not happy.
I love the hard and fast July 31st deadline. I think it would even be more fun around baseball if you move that up back to when it was June 15th forever. That might have been too early. But maybe sometime, maybe the Wednesday after the All-Star game, that be the trade deadline and make everybody get on the record. Hold them or fold them.
Not top story of the day.
Well, this is a sad one for sure. I've seen the highlights of this, and I thought it might end up being a decent story, but it has turned out to be one of the worst stories you could imagine. Boxer Maxim Dadashev, a Russian, 28-year-old, died from injuries suffered in a fight that was part of the Friday night fights on ESPN. He was a good boxer, 13-1 and only 28. His trainer stopped the fight, I believe, after the 12th round, and I saw the video where Max himself wanted to keep fighting. And the trainer is going, I can't let you do it. I don't think they'll let you do it. Please, Max, let me make you quit. Please, Max. And Max just finally relented and said okay. And then basically 3 days later, he's passed.
My not top story, all the talk about the Yankees and the Dodgers and their big payrolls, their big crowds, their big histories. I think there's a third team solid in that mix. It's Houston. They're in St. Louis this weekend. They're right there with those big 2. And I don't know that Atlanta's that far behind Houston for maybe a big 4. There are a lot of good teams. And there could be a team that just punches that ticket for those wild card games, or maybe even odd playoff to get in the wild card. That would be fun to have a lot of drama there that could catch that wave and then play one of those good teams like Yankees and Dodgers in that 3 out of 5 spring upset and walk out with a title this year.
Do you remember earlier in the year, and Chris Raby was talking about the health of baseball and how he felt, and that's why he thought they could expand, that there was enough talent to go around. And I'm talking right now, San Francisco is a 500 ball club, but they're making their move. They could make the playoffs. If you look at baseball right now, there's only 2 teams that you would say are really stinkers. I hate to say this because I don't want to hurt Drew's feelings,
3.
but the Baltimore Orioles and the Miami Marlins.
And Detroit.
Okay, I'll throw in Detroit, but it wasn't that long ago Detroit was at least fighting.
Mets aren't true stinkers, but they're not in it.
No, probably not. They are 9 games under 500. They would be selling, but there's still some talent level there. There are players that you would come and you would want to see.
But we've seen August and later runs. A few years ago when Colorado went on that 21 out of 22 run. I mean, that never hurts you.
No.
Very, very rarely that's a bad thing.
But, bottom line, there's a lot of talent and a lot of good teams. I really think the Cubs are good. I think Milwaukee's a really good team. I'm not sure, and I don't mean this to be hurtful, I'm not sure that the Cardinals are quite where I think those other 2 teams are.
I am sure. I think the Cardinals are utterly average.
Oh, utterly average. Okay. Yeah. But not terrible.
I mean, not terrible, but show me a strength. Show me somebody in that lineup that you're pitching around, that you go in with a game plan and go, man, we can't be facing so-and-so in the bottom of the 8th. I know Goldschmidt had the big hit last night, but most of the year he's been okay.
Right.
But he doesn't. I don't think you defend around him, do you? What's the defensive strength of the team?
Average.
I think so. That's better and has been.
I don't think that, at least coming into this year, that Goldschmidt was a bad first baseman. There were a lot of people
the
thought
Cardinals
that
have really
he helped his third baseman out by digging out balls.
They've really cut down on the errors. They've cut down on the pass balls this year. Cleveland's the leader in that. I think Cleveland's only had one pass ball all year.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Speaking of baseball, I was going to do this a little later. We can do it as well. I don't know if you saw the comments by Nicholas Castellanos, the
Tiger center fielder.
Tiger center fielder.
He's right. But
he's right. He's complaining about the dimensions at Comerica
National Park. That's what it looks like.
Well, right. I mean, basically, it's
like
420 feet.
They moved those in, too, Dave. That's in from original opening.
But it's still 420. And he's only got 13 home runs, I think, or something like that. Maybe it's only 11.
But does he forget he plays defense, too? That's helping his pitchers.
Well, it is helping his pitchers, but it's not helping his home run percentage. It's not helping his stats.
That's all we're worried about now.
It's not helping anything in that regard, and he thinks it's hurting his team because it's skewing all of their numbers compared to the rest of the league. Well, it's an interesting concept.
It is, but we have no foul territory anymore, and he's mad over the fair territory.
Yeah.
Center field, 420. That's a lot of center field.
And that's, as you said, moving it in.
Yeah.
420 straight away. I mean, he said, I hit a ball 435 or 438 feet and made it into the very first row. Again, we remind you, we are at Poplar and St. Nick. We are at the Spirit Shop, one of my favorite places to come and just BS with this man who joins us now, Eddie Connor. I know you got a spirit testing today with a rye and a bourbon. Tell us a little bit about what folks can do today, besides registering to win Butcher Shop and a couple of pairs of tickets to the FESJC on Sunday.
Well, I believe it's one of the owners of the distillery is coming by here at 4. He'll be here at 4.
Okay.
Be here till 7. And he's going to bring a sample bottle of each of those and sample through them and tell you all about them.
So if folks want to come here,
yep,
they can sample, they can register.
Yep.
And we'll have some giveaways, too, along the way. Did you, in your collegiate career, were you an engineer of some kind?
No, I've just been moving things around this building for 32 years.
It is astonishing. I tell people this in our spots all the time, how much you get in from floor to ceiling. All of the supply that you have on hand here.
Yeah, this is a little bitty building with a whole lot of stuff in it.
And your family's been a part of this building since?
I've been here for 32 years. I only owned it for 6 or 7. But I've been moving stuff around for 32 years.
And your daughter and your son are part of it? I think your wife is on occasion. Yeah. It's a family affair.
She helped me on the 4th of July. So, everybody was in Florida except us, so even my daughter was in Florida. So
you had to stay back and work, didn't you?
It was a long week. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But, like I said, we're here every hour the law will allow. 8 a.m. every morning, 11 p.m. every night, except Sundays. We can only open at 10 on Sundays.
Eddie, will you go out to the golf tournament?
Yeah, I'm actually going to make it out there every day but Friday.
Good deal.
Friday's delivery day.
Eddie is a sports guy. He loves the Tigers and he loves the Grizzlies. Tell me a little just about the business a bit, because I'm always fascinated by the amount that we have here. If there's a change from 32 years ago, it has to be wine. I would think that would be the biggest change, maybe bourbons and how that has become such a big industry. But I would have to say 32 years ago, they were just really starting to explode in California.
When I started working here, we did about 75% liquor sales. At one point, we were doing 75% wine sales. And when wine went in grocery stores, it kind of started the trend back the other way because there's more opportunities to buy. So now we're back to probably 70% liquor sales, but that's because of bourbon. Bourbon is just absolutely crazy. You can't get it. It's allocated. It's, we have to stash stuff to even maintain any. But
like to get a Van Winkle. Is that possible?
If you have money. We get a couple of bottles, 3 bottles a year, depending on which age group it is. Some stores get more, some stores get less, some stores don't get any. It's just based on how much volume you do with that particular supplier. They have a formula, and equally. They distribute as equally as they feel it's fair, and people all get some. And people come in here all the time looking for it, and I tell them all the same thing: go where you normally shop, and if they're good to you, they'll take care of you. But you got to be loyal to them. So if you come in here looking for a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle, you're not going to find it because it's well hidden, and you're not going to buy it unless you're a customer of the neighborhood. Or
right.
If you're buying it to sell it on the internet, you're not getting it here. I make sure of that.
Right.
But if you're a good customer and you come in and you ask, I'll do everything I can to get you whatever you want.
And I could attest to that because I've asked for wines that he did not necessarily have, and you made calls to wineries. And a lot of the time, those they don't leave the state of Washington because it's a small winery or something like that. But you always go the extra mile.
Everything has to be registered, so they'll have to. Sometimes I've had people ask for a wine, and I've gone to the suppliers and say, hey, you rep this wine. Y'all don't have any? Yeah, we didn't sell it. Well, I got a customer that wants it. They'll special order some, bring it in, as long as I fulfill my end of the bargain and buy it from them. And then the customer fulfills their end of the bargain and buys it from us. We can most always get something in there. There are some brands that aren't registered in this state that we can't legally get. So,
right.
I think we were looking for one of those at one time and couldn't get one in because it wasn't registered.
So wines and bourbons obviously have exploded, but it seems to me tequilas and even vodkas have become much bigger with brand names that have done a good job of marketing.
When I started, there were 15, 20 vodkas. You had some well vodkas. You had some call vodkas. You had a couple of premium vodkas and a super premium. Now every company, every wholesaler we have has 6 super premium vodkas. There's a new one every day, and nobody wants you to ever get rid of their one they like. Even.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just keep compounding the number of spots, and that's when we have to go up. That's why everything's stacked to the ceiling.
What's the hot brand?
Tito's. Tito's is vodka by far. I think it's number one in the United States the last 2 or 3 years.
Is Tito's made in the United States?
In Texas.
In Texas.
Oh, yeah.
So Texas has surpassed Russia for popular vodka?
Here in the States.
In the States.
Now, worldwide, I would imagine Smirnoff's probably still number one. But in the United States, Tito's is a runaway freight train.
Well, Eddie, thank you so much for having us out here today. We appreciate it. We'll give a bunch of stuff away. They should come try the Riverset Rye and the Blue Note Bourbon. The guy that is the owner of this particular distillery is going to be here. He'll tell you all about it. You'll have fun chatting about bourbon if you want to. We are here until 6, and the distiller will be here until 7. Eddie, we appreciate it so much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
And I know we got to take a break. We are at this beautiful place, Poplar and St. Nick, in the heart of downtown, East Memphis, I should say. But the Family Leisure Studios, well, they kind of moved. They're still in the Flynn Broadcasting Center, but you need to get to Family Leisure because they still have a summer sale that's going on where you beat the prices for next year. There's 12-month financing, and there's still plenty of swimming to go. There's always something really cool that they are selling at Family Leisure, above-ground pools, you name it, they got it. The best in the Adirondack chairs, all top-of-the-line patio stuff. You'll love it. Just get to I-40 and Wooden Road. You'll find 70,000 square feet of family and fun coming together, Family Leisure.
Tea time's out for Thursday and Friday. Pretty good grouping here. Teeing off on Thursday at 12:59 off of 1T, Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, and Jason Day. I think they have a pretty good crowd around them.
That will be a huge crowd. And a reminder, Thursday and Friday, threesomes off of 1 and 10 every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on Saturday and Sunday, are we doing the same thing? Will it be threesomes or twosomes?
On Saturday and Sunday, it will be 2 tees and threesomes. 2
tees and threesomes. Well, folks, remember, there's no cut, so everybody will be in, and we'll have threesomes
Sunday,
the whole day.
Tea time's approximately 10:20 a.m. to 12:10 p.m. A lot of great pairings. U.S. Open winner Gary Woodland, John Rahm, Xander Schauffele. Another good group, Paul Casey, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas. Just about every group, name brand in every group. I watched Tony Finau a little bit today. He can flat groove it playing with Hideki Matsuyama and Matt Wallace. Phil Mickelson will be with Thorbjorn Olsen and Haotong Leaf of China, and he can play. Jordan Spieth, he was on Rendezvous at the Range today with his caddy, Michael Greller. They were out there today.
Were they eating some Q? Were they eating Rendezvous?
Oh, yeah. They were diving in like everybody. Jordan Spieth, Matt Kuchar, Justin Rose. That's a good group there.
Wow, that's a really good group. Gosh, just
Kevin Kisner, Patrick Reed, Lucas Beauregard. Remember, Lucas Beauregard really made his name in the Mexico City WGC, right? That's where he
I believe that's correct.
Made his big splash. Great pairings.
What a listing. What a listing. I want to see Nate Lashley. Where's Mitchell Wolf? Who's he playing with? Danny Willett and Jim Furyk are playing together.
Matthew Wolf with Corey Connors and Ian Poulter.
Oh, and Ian Poulter. So you got a rookie and you got a vet. Interesting for sure. The guy's the vet, who's the tournament director, is Daryl Smith. He joins us in a moment. We are live at the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick. Please come see us and register for tickets and butcher shop, gift certificate, and everything else right here on Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Spend your lunch with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 middays, delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf with their sizzling summer savings specials. Look for hot deals on items like TaylorMade TP5 Picks golf balls, now 2 dozen for only $80. Cleveland CBX wedges for only $99.99. That's a $30 savings. And save up to $200 on Rogue irons. Just a few of the hot specials you'll find now at Edwin Watts Sizzling Summer Savings. Edwin Watts, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, serving golfers since 1968.
Family Leisure's pool clearance sale is July 8th through the 21st. Above ground pools starting at $11.99. 24-foot pools starting at $17.99. And you can get free upgrades on select pools that include pool filters, liners, and winter covers. Special 12-month financing is available. Plus, half off on toys, floats, and pool games. Summer's just started. There's plenty of time to swim, so make a splash at the Family Leisure Pool Clearance Sale. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Like my hat?
Your hat says meat.
I know, ain't it cool?
It is cool. Where'd you get it?
I thought you'd never ask.
I didn't mean to.
It's just one of the many cool things you can order on Central Barbecue's website, cbqmemphis.com.
You can get a meat hat there?
Or a logo flat bill like all the kids are wearing.
You don't need to be wearing what the kids are wearing.
And tie-dye t-shirts and old school trucker hats and onesies for your baby, all with the Central Barbecue logo on them.
Onesies for your baby?
They got everything at CBQ Memphis, and you can order ribs.
I'll check that out.
We could have matching meat hats.
Hi, folks. Rob Walker, Infinity of Memphis, and we've got a new Infinity crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like two engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infinity has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And the new QX50 offers more horsepower than its Audi, Lexus, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
Infinity of Memphis, and online at infinityofmemphis.com. Wolo and Stats will be on location at the Spirit Shop, 4848 Poplar Avenue, Tuesday, July 23rd from 3 to 6. You'll be able to join in on a whiskey tasting event from 3 to 7. Sports 56 will have lots of prizes, like rounds of golf at Wedgwood, maybe a Butcher Shop gift card, and 2 very lucky people will win 2-box tickets to the World Golf Tournament. Central Barbecue will be on hand to fill your belly. Wolo and Stats on location at the Spirit Shop, Tuesday, July 23rd from 3 to 6 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. The best golfers in the world are coming to Memphis for the inaugural WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Sports 56 will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news and talking with players and officials. Our coverage from TPC Southwind on Sports 56 is presented by Landers Ford. Also brought to you by Rooster's Men's Grooming Center, Blue City Cafe, Edwin Watts, Jason's Deli, First Bank, Memphis Paints, and Ronnie Grizzani's.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Noseworthy.
Welcome back, and we do invite you to come by. We are at Poplar and St. Nick. We mentioned we are giving away, so if you register, please come in and do so. Register, because we're giving away a couple of pairs of tickets for the WGC, FESJI, and that is for Sunday's round. So we have two different pairings, two different pairs of tickets we will give to that. And at 5:45, we'll give away a $50 gift certificate to the Butcher Shop. And speaking of the Butcher Shop, Brett, man, Friday, on your way to the golf course, how about Hamburger Friday? That's the day from 11 to 2. They take all that steak early in the morning. They grind it up, and they serve it fresh right on the grill right as you walk by. It's part of your line. You walk through the door, you've got a plate in your hand, and you go medium rare or medium or well done, however you would like it, and you put your own, and they got all the fixings, lettuce and fresh tomato and onion, and man, everything's got chips. You get a drink. It's a price you won't believe, and it tastes better than any burger you ever put in your mouth. Don't forget, Sunday and Monday night, we're going to have Sunday night, Monday night football soon. They got a special $25 entree with salad, with the fresh bread. It is to die for. It's special at the Butcher Shop, and we're giving away a $50 voucher. All you got to do is come in and register here at the Spirit Shop. It's always tough, Brett, when you don't know which group you want to follow because there's so many big names.
So many big names. You mentioned football coming soon. After this week, 27 straight weeks of football starting next Thursday night with the Hall of Fame game. We're soon not to be without football, but we do have plenty of golf over the next starting on Thursday over 4 days at TPC Southwind. I mentioned Kevin Kisner, Patrick Reed, and Lucas Beauregard. Kevin Kisner out working on the practice area today. I would have thought he would have won a little more by this point this year.
A lot of good players. I mean, we've had all these new first-time winners. That's always amazing to me. Who knew about Wolf until
a few weeks
ago, unless you were really into the NCAA? Who knew about Nate Lashley? You got to go back a long way to know about Nate Lashley.
Yeah, he won this year, though.
Yeah. Patrick Cantlay, Mark Leishman, and Tommy Fleetwood, that's another outstanding grouping. Which you think will get? Paul Casey, Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, is that the top? You think that that gets the most?
Yeah, Nate Lashley won at Rocket Mortgage, and then Matthew Wolf won the next week at the 3M. You know, Dylan Fratelli, he won at the John Deere. You know, a lot of newer names, but some old guard names. Plenty of opportunity for people to see the best in the world. Best field we've ever had. It's been said it is legit. There's not the number of players. You know, usually this would be 156 players, but you know this week would just be 63 players now, and everybody going off of 1 and 10. There will be a point every day that just about the entire golf tournament, or all the golfers, will be on the course.
Daryl Smith, tournament director of the WGC FESJI, joins us now. So I know we lost Shane Lowry, but you did get Phil Mickelson, and I know you're going to be happy as could be because I think he was a little torn, but he said in the end he likes the golf course in Memphis too much to miss it.
Yeah, no, it was exciting to see Mr. Mickelson on the range this afternoon. So he's been here on site at TPC Southwind and working on his game, and it's good to have him back at Memphis for the 7th consecutive year.
And he's been good to us.
Oh, without question, he has. I mean, when he's been here, he's been so committed, and he's been has spoken so highly of the golf course and just his time in Memphis and the people of Memphis and the tournament in general. So. Hopefully he gets back to a familiar place here at Southwind, and he can work his way out of the little, mini funk that he is in with his golf game. Sometimes that's good for these guys to get back to a place that they've had success, and he's played extremely well here before. So I think that's a positive, and hopefully that a familiar place will be good for his golf game.
Look, Darry, Low Man's going to win on Sunday afternoon when you and Dave and the officials are on the 18th green during the winner's ceremony. We don't know who it'll be, and it doesn't matter who we're pulling for. Somebody's going to be the winner on Sunday, but there's so many different people that would be a great story, that would be a fun story. One of them would be maybe the biggest Memphis FedEx Cup, FedEx, St. Jude advocate testimonial person out there, Billy Horschel.
Yeah, no, I just ran into Billy just a short time ago, and a big warm embrace with Billy. And Billy has been, he's been very open about FedEx's contributions to the PGA Tour in general. Of course, winning the FedEx Cup was very, very special for him. He's always done whatever he can for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and anytime that we can have one of those guys that that's been here and has been around our event and knows the significance of FedEx's involvement and what it does for the hospital. It makes you excited, it makes you proud. So we hope Billy plays well here, and he loves the golf course. Has always spoken highly of the golf course and thinks it's a great test. So I imagine that he'll play some pretty good golf.
T4 2 years ago, T8 in 2015, tied for 6th in 2014. He's knocked on the door. This might be the year.
Yeah, no doubt. He always says that he comes here and he feels like he can play this golf course extremely well, and it's a golf course that he can win on. And that's half the battle when you're a professional athlete. That's for sure.
Well, Phil has played here well, and he usually has the biggest of the galleries. I'm sure Billy will join. Will have a lot of interest, but I don't think there will be any doubt that on Thursday at just before 1 o'clock, Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, Jason Day. That's the premier trio. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think Rory McIlroy. I think that while he's played in Memphis before, and having him back in Memphis, and already having a great year with winning the Players earlier this year in March, and then winning the week before the U.S. Open, the RBC Canadian Open, and just his performance last week at the Open Championship, not what he had imagined, or not what he wanted to how he wanted to play. But then Rory McIlroy is just fans are attracted to him, and the way he handled himself after the Open Championship, and in that interview, I think he got a lot more fans here in Memphis and all around the world. So we're excited to have him back. Who he's played well here as well. That's what's so unique about some of these guys that have played here before. A lot of them have played well, and to have him and Brooks Koepka, and you can't say enough about Brooks and what he's done in the game here in recent memory. So that's definitely a marquee group. And Jason Day has been in Memphis before, but it was a long time ago before he is as accomplished as he is now. So that's a very, very good pairing. But when you have a World Golf Championship, they're all great pairings.
They sure are.
World Golf Championship, you got 45 of the 50 guys, and you can. While some of them might be a little bit more attractive than the others, you're going to see good golf wherever you are.
And we should point out, since we're talking all these pairings, that now it's threesomes, and it's threesomes every day, and every day you will have a set that will tee off the first tee and a set that will tee off the back tee. How does that work on Saturday? Is it the ones on the top half of the leaderboard that will tee off number one both days, Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, that's right. So, once we don't have a cut, so we'll continue playing golf on Saturday and Sunday, but we'll set up the pairings in a manner where the guys that are in contention will be finishing on 18th green. But we will have golf simultaneously finishing on the 9th hole and the 18th hole over the weekend, which, coming from the FedEx St. Jude Classic era, the only way that you used to do that is if you were, dealing with weather, to be honest. You always had a kind of a 1-tee start, and you started in the morning, and the leaders went off between 12 and 1, somewhere right around there, and they'd finish, right on CBS right at 5 o'clock when we would go off air. So a little bit of a change as far as the actual competition, going off 2 tees and threesomes. But, when you have a smaller field like we have, you can do things like this, and you can also put the entire field on the golf course all at one time.
Yeah, and Darryl, for people that don't have tickets, it is not sold out. Are you approaching what you would call sellout?
Well, it's we're going to learn a lot as it relates to capacity this year. We don't have a front door. We don't have a bunch of stadium seats. So we're going to learn a lot. Sales have exceeded what we have done in the past, for sure. We definitely think that while the FedEx St. Jude Classic was very successful, the redemption of these tickets that are in the marketplace are going to be at a higher percentage than we've seen in the past, especially with the forecast that we have. And a lot of things go into it. There's some variables going into people actually attending your event, and some of that is weather, of course, or a lot of that's weather. And then a second thing could be the leaderboard. The leaderboard is not near as impactful as it has, maybe been in the past, just due to the quality of golf and knowing that the best players are going to be here. So we still do have tickets available on WGCFedEx.com. Those are just general grounds tickets. We have a few upgraded hospitality options available, but we're extremely excited about the sales that we have had to this point. We really do think that it's going to be an extremely well-attended event, and you're going to see a noticeable difference on site with the number of people.
For those of us who've been coming for years, and we know the layout of the holes, but everything sort of changes where you can go if you're general public to not only see it, but to get food. And you've got a lot of different options this time. You got the pit with 4 different barbecue restaurants, including Germantown Commissary, which both Stats and I love and is a big sponsor of this show. You've got a thing that Andrew Michael have put together called Birdies and Bubbles, which is intriguing for sure, and I think that's a little more upscale food. So if you don't mind, sort of walk us through. We're going through the gates where the putting green is. We walk to the putting green. Tell us where we should go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, once you're here on site, the first place everybody wants to go check out is our practice facility. Or actually where the guys warm up and where they prior to the round is new this year as well. It's a new tee deck that's a little further back and closer to the clubhouse. So a lot of people want to, start their day out there, watch the guys warm up. Right behind the practice range, we do have a venue called the Ultra Deck. Our sponsorship with Michelob Ultra, so that overlooks the pro practice facility and a good spot to start your day. And then if you go, since we're starting at 11:20, you're gonna want to get a bite to eat probably fairly quick once you get on site, and depending if you start your day out on the front nine or back nine, we have you covered. And then if you really want to watch the golf, we have, if in close proximity to the clubhouse, 2 covered bleachers by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, one on 9 green and one on 11 tee. So, you could go over there and watch a couple groups come through and just make your way all around this golf course. What you'll see a lot more open to the public venues, a lot more amenities for the general grounds spectator with the covered bleachers and the different food offerings. And, those food offerings aren't just available for general public. I mean, corporate hospitality customers are going to want to get outside and experience these new food enhancements that we have. So, the new merchandise shop, we have a new merchandise shop on site with a new logo, which I encourage everybody to go and buy as much merchandise as you possibly can because that's a brand new logo. And everybody, that's one of the big questions we've had all year is like, how can I get a hold of that new logo? So I encourage you to do that as well.
And there are 19 major winners in the field. But you mentioned it last week, I think on Friday when we visited with you. There are, out of last year's tournament, there are 14 players that were in last year's tournament back this year. And Andrew Putnam was probably one of the more tough luck, runners-up, a little bit forgotten from Dustin Johnson over 4 days and the theatrics on 18 that now bear a foot plaque out on 18 fairway. It's good to have those guys that were here last year, like Tony Finau, J.B. Holmes, the champ, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, Phil Mickelson, C.T. Pan, and I mentioned Andrew Putnam, Brandt Snedeker. I like the guys that were here last year back this year because last year they came to Memphis, and this year they earned their way to Memphis.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, we're just as loyal to guys that have been in Memphis before as they are to us, and it's exciting. The guys that have been here before, for those guys that haven't been here in quite some time, and I think they've already done a great job of telling everybody how good the golf course is, and how good the tournament has been here in the past, and how they enjoy their time. And I think that at the end of the day, there's so many variables for a player making their schedule. And in the past, with our date and the FedEx St. Jude Classic just being what it was, no disrespect to that, but it's harder because those guys, there's a lot of tournaments that are just like that. So the World Golf Championship, while it is an invitational, it does provide, it is easier to get those guys back and once they are qualified. So I think that you're going to see I think you're going to see a lot of guys that have been here play well. I think you're also going to see some guys that have been here before or haven't been here play well. And I think the golf course, at the end of the day, it's going to reward the people that are playing good golf. And there's several of these guys that had great finishes at the Open Championship, have been playing good golf for quite some time. And, with the weather forecast that we have, I think it's just going to be a continuation of some of their good play. And it'll be for sure a great leaderboard, whoever does play well.
Well, I get to that in a second because you usually will give us your way too early prediction. But before I do, how is the golf course playing? Have they got the rough up? I know there were some wet spots yesterday. That's all going to dry out. There's no doubt about that. We have no rain in the forecast at all, pretty much. And last year it was crazy because Dustin Johnson, with the help of that eagle, was 19 under. I think since the redo, the average has been just under 13 under par. What do you think the winning score will be at this first WGC?
Yeah, I think the guys are gonna. They're gonna shoot good scores. I think that 13 under, 13 to 17 under is definitely right in there. I think you shoot 4 under a day, you have a good chance of winning this thing. That'd be 16 under par. So I think that. History shows that if you shoot even a couple under par for 4 days, that you're in the hunt. The wind is blowing more today than it will the rest of the week, it looks like. So I don't think you're going to have a crazy amount of wind, even though there is gusty out here right this second. But I've always said that if you shoot 3 or 4 under par per day, you're going to be right in the
go a long way.
Yeah, go a long way. So so I expect something similar to that. I think that all the guys that are on the PGA Tour are really good golfers, are the best. Some of them might not be as accomplished quite yet as others. So, we're going to get the best players in the world, and hopefully their games are, at a extremely high level, and we'll just see what happens when we tee it up on Thursday.
All right. In the tradition of the past between you and Phil Cannon, we always get, before this thing begins, the guy you think will win. Give me that guy.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get off Dustin Johnson, I'll be honest. I think that Dustin and his success here and playing here and winning in 2012 and 2018, I feel like he's going to play extremely good golf here again this year. So I like Dustin. I like Jordan Spieth as well. I think that Jordan has been on a grind this year. I think that he has some of his confidence back from his play, last week at the Open Championship and playing well some of the, for the most part of that tournament. I do like him, and I like his, I just think that, he's been working hard on his game, and I think he'd be an unbelievable champion.
Darrell Smith, can't wait to see you tomorrow. And I know the golf course looks exceptional. We are really, really excited about the whole week. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
Thank you,
Darrell. That is Darrell Smith, tournament director of the WGC.
Yeah, this summer when a lot of guys go off traveling, a lot of people going out to the golf tournament, they'll sacrifice quality for price, but you don't have to do that. Don't buy those disposable razors. Go to Harry's. Join the 10 million who have tried Harry's. Get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just use stats at harrys.com. Harry's founders were 2 regular guys, Andy and Jeff. Andy and Jeff were tired of getting ripped off and paying for overpriced razors, so they did something about it, including buying a 99-year-old German world-class blade factory that's been making some of the best razor blades for almost 100 years. Speaking of 100, the 100% quality guarantee you get from Harry's, and Harry's cares about giving back. 1% of sales, all donated to charitable organizations. This summer, Harry's has a special offer for listeners of this show. New customers get $5 off a trial set from Harry's with code STATS at harrys.com. That means you get a razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping when you use code STATS at harrys.com. And when you run out, remember, Harry's replacement cartridges, just $2 each. When I shave with Harry's.
We welcome you to stop on by and chat with us and register to win 2 pairs of tickets for Sunday's final round. We will give that away at 6 o'clock, but you got to register to draw if you come. Here in the next couple of minutes, we've got a tasting of a rye and a bourbon, and that's free. You'll love that. We also have a butcher shop certificate we'll give away at 5:45, but you got to register to win that
surprises.
too. And some surprises. All you got to do is come in and smile. You'll love what you see at the Spirit Shop. Back in just a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
Are you looking for a high-quality, family-oriented country club experience? Then look no further than Windike Country Club. As a member, you have access to the men's and ladies and junior golf programs, the best par 3 in the Southeast, and 2 18-hole golf courses that you're going to absolutely love. Windike is also a great place for weddings and wedding receptions. Keep it in mind. For more details on how to become a member, call them today at 754-1888 or email membership@windike.com.
It's all about the fun, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
The forensic analyst searched for clues to the house fire.
Could that be
Starch? Suddenly it came together. The fire was started by
an over-microwaved potato?
Covered, July 25th, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Introducing Top Tracer Range, the new ball tracking and gaming system at Golf and Games Family Park. Top Tracer gathers data such as distance, carry, ball speed, and more. Compete against friends in a points game, long drive, and virtual golf at courses such as Pebble Beach and St. Andrews. Golf and Games Family Park is a great setting for group and company outings, golf lessons, or individual practice. Experience fun, friends, family, and introducing Top Tracer Range, the new ball tracking and gaming system at Golf and Games Family Park, 5484 Summer Avenue.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Cruising through hour number 1. We're at the Spirit Shop. That is Poplar and St. Nick, that little log cabin I talk about a lot. Come in and see it. You will be rewarded. You can win tickets to the FESJC Sunday rounds. You can win a gift certificate to the butcher shop, or if you come in and you want to taste some rye or some bourbon, we will start doing that here in about the next 10 minutes or so. The owner of the distillery that makes Riverset Rye and Blue Note Bourbon will be here. We got a tasting going on, so we certainly will be busy. You were out there today. Tell me about the look of this golf course compared to the way we've seen it in the past.
Well, it's always been great in the past, but it's just better. It's just bigger. It's glitzier. It's stadium golf personified. I think everybody will love the signage and the setup and the presentation of it. In the golf course, I know Jordan Spieth was raving about how the greens are rolling, what great shape they're in. I watched Tony Finau play about 4 holes. He wasn't in the rough much, but he went over, just hit some practice shots from it. And thought it's interesting now with us being, one of the NBA towns. He's first cousin with Jabari Parker, who is an NBA player, and Tony Finau, very athletic. Loved that compact swing of his. Loved watching Mark Leishman in the bunker practice area today. I just think people are going to be amazed at just everywhere you turn, there's another star.
Just looking at those pairings, and we'll go over those a little bit later again. You are absolutely on the money with that. This portion of the show brought to you by Sleepy Z's, Michael Zellner's Place in Bartlett. 50 to 80% off mattresses every day of the week, and they're there. At Kirby Whitten Road and Summer Avenue, they are there 7 days a week. And we're talking Serta and Simmons Beauty Rest. What great products they have in there. They got off-brands, too, that are sensational, and you get even more of a discount. And if you say Wolo or Stats, 10% more off the top. And then there's furniture, too, big discounts on Signature designed by Ashley or Benchcraft or a kiosk full. If you don't see it on the floor, you'll see it in the kiosk. Go talk to Michael. He's there all the time. And again, they're open 7 days a week. That's part of the reason why the #1 mattress store in Memphis is voted by you 4 years in a row. Sleepy Z's by Michael Zellner, where you never wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Back in just a minute, we turn our attention to college football. It's right around the corner. Brent Beard will join us from Jacksonville. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Is your air conditioning system ready for the hot Memphis summer? Good news, it's spring cleaning time at Conway Services. We'll come out and perform our exclusive 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system for only $69. Did you know the #1 cause of air conditioning system breakdown is dirt? A dirty air conditioning system can literally starve the life from your home's cooling system, causing untimely breakdowns, higher utility costs, and even premature equipment failure. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system, making sure you're ready for the hot Memphis summer, all for only $69. It's like taking your air conditioner to a car wash. Plus, right now, we'll treat your air conditioner with a special Teflon coating to help protect against the hot Memphis sun. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511, and call this week and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf with their sizzling summer savings specials. Look for hot deals on items like TaylorMade TP5 Picks golf balls, now 2 dozen for only $80. Cleveland CBX wedges for only $99.99. That's a $30 savings. And save up to $200 on Rogue irons. Just a few of the hot specials you'll find now at Edwin Watts Sizzling Summer Savings. Edwin Watts, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, serving golfers since 1968.
Come to Holly Chevrolet in Marion and get a sizzling summer deal. Right now, get 20% below MSRP. That's over $9,000 off MSRP on the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. The all-new 2019 Chevy Silverado Double Cab LT. All 2018s must go. Get a 2018 Malibu for as low as $23,156. Stop by today and check out Holly's large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to enjoy. And at Holly Chevrolet, it's a no-pressure, no-hassle environment. As a matter of fact, there's no Badgers. And never pay a dock fee. Find new roads at exit 14 off I-55 in Marion, just 15 minutes from downtown Memphis. And online at hollychevrolet.com.
2019 Chevy Silverado Double Cab LT, stock number N3580. 2018 Chevy Malibu, stock number N3377. All discounts, rebates, and incentives are included and applied. Must qualify finance with GM Financial and have a 99 year GM product. Prices do not include tax, tags, title, or registration. Take delivery by 7/31/19. See dealer for details.
Napa know-how.
Right now, Avalanche AC Refrigerant is on sale for $19.99. And because it's Military Month at Napa, every purchase of Avalanche AC Refrigerant and other select products will benefit the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund. So support the troops and your ride. Then pick up Avalanche AC Refrigerant for $19.99. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 7/31/19.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving. Built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Olshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. We are beginning hour number 2 at the Spirit Shop. That is Poplar and St. Nick, that little log cabin. You pass by a million times, you'll love it. All kinds of folks coming in. We are giving away tickets to the FESJC, 2 different pairs. We are giving away a Butcher Shop gift certificate. All you got to do is come in and register. Folks are coming from all over. Did you see that guy, Brett, with the really good haircut? That was Rob Check. He's the guy that owns Supercuts.
I did.
Boy, he looked sharp. There's no doubt. His son was here. Man, they got good haircuts.
They sure do. I got one of them.
No doubt about that. Yeah, and you always look good. It's no camera today, but the cameras are going to be out at the golf tournament.
All 3 hairs in good shape, right?
There was used to be an anchor at KFES TV in Cape Girardeau, where I really started in TV. His name was Mike Shane. And I watched Mike when I was a student at SIU in the very early 70s, and Mike had a pretty good head of hair. Mike made the most, a little like you, of 4 hair when, he was there for like 45,
Make
50
them count,
years.
Man.
He knew how to brush those things over. Man, he looked good.
Grow a little bit way down here and get it all the way over here.
Exactly. That's what he...
Hey, comb-overs are the rage.
That's what he used to do.
The new Prime Minister of Great Britain, if you checked out that hairdo.
No, I had...
Some worldwide hairdos
Some
these
worldwide?
days.
Yeah. We go worldwide. Well, at least we go to Jacksonville, Florida. Brent Beard joins us now. We talk some college football with him every week in this time slot. And I am just really glad that you called in today because I really worried about you surviving SEC Media Days in Birmingham. Good afternoon, Brent.
After being there for several decades, we kind of get the lay of the land pretty quickly in Hoover and can go from there. Great to see Brett. We enjoyed it. It was a great 4 days, frankly. So I am kind of wondering how wise it is for all these conferences to have their media days in the same week. You have 4 of them going on. And frankly, and I'm sure Brett saw this too, to me, it affected the attendance. That particularly in the print room, you had less, but all in all, yes, Dave, it was a wonderful week.
Yeah, it was a good week, and I came out of it like I do every year, Brent, kind of after you're inundated with it, inculcated among it, that I kind of leave there in love with everybody. And now as I get further away from that, I start looking at it a little more soberly. Give me one that there you thought was maybe selling sunshine, and now you think as the march to the season gets here, it won't be as maybe as a rosy scenario for them as last week presented itself.
Well, I think Will Muschamp in South Carolina are that way. They are. I mean, the schedule's brutal, and that's the main thing. But and they really need to win that game with North Carolina to begin the season. That would help them. That might put them at 7-5 or 6-6. But Will was upbeat with the new facilities, and obviously new facilities are the rage around the league. But, man, when you look at that and you get some injuries and so forth, if they can't win some of those 50-50 games, that 7-5 could turn into 5-7 pretty quick with a bunch of disgruntled fans, too.
There is a rumor out there that, Brent, you were the one from the East that voted for Tennessee to win. I'm just curious if that's true.
I can confirm that is not true. But I was, yes, and I was amazed at that too. They haven't tracked down the person who's done that yet.
Nobody stood up proudly for it, have they?
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, Kentucky got a first place vote. South Carolina got a first place vote. Missouri had 3 first place votes. So things like that just amaze me, frankly. When you see that. Brad probably remembers this. I remember the Birmingham News poll. Hell, help me, Brad. I think it was Jimmy Bryan, who was a big Mississippi State fan.
He was.
Every year voted Mississippi State number one.
He would.
and they, obviously that wasn't going to happen, but everybody laughed at it at that point. But look, will they make progress? I think they will, and I think they could get close to a bowl in at least 6-6. But Tennessee guys are still a couple years away from being really competitive.
You mentioned, Brent, facilities. I'd like. Does Alabama have the number one facilities now? Has somebody caught them? Is Vandy the worst of all the facilities as we stand right now?
Probably. I mean, and there's even talk about them improving some things. Now, their baseball facility is incredible, and I understand they're going to be doing some work on basketball too. So, I mean, this new LSU thing is amazing. And the reason, Brent and Dave, anytime you build something and you can take a nap at work every day, that's a good thing, is it not?
I'm all for it.
Yeah, me too. Well, we could all use that about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, couldn't we?
We could.
But here's the thing, though, Dave, and we talked about this a little bit at media days. I mean, guys, this stuff's not going to end. I mean, Will
it's an arms race.
I mean, he was giddy about their new facilities, and you've got Florida obviously is working with theirs. LSU just spent about $28 million, and that's been the rage this week. You mentioned Bama; that they've certainly done the same thing. Now I want you to think about this a minute. I've heard some conversation. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but that they may actually have some kind of a surgical unit one day in these facilities, so that you don't have to go out of town to get your surgeries done. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But you know what's going on, guys, with these facilities, and the coaches are pretty smart about this. Not only is it for recruiting, but they're actually making these facilities to the point where these players don't want to leave, that they want to hang around there pretty much all day long instead of going to get in trouble, as they want to do before the season begins. I know there's some merit to that, but I mean, my goodness, there's really almost nothing you can't do in these facilities, including academics.
Well, Brent, and you're right. That is by design. They want it self-contained, and especially with a lot of online classes and very friendly type classes like that you don't have to be at the science auditorium anymore. You don't have to be at the business administration building anymore to take college algebra or wherever you to the mathematics room, wherever you took it from. They want that, and I think it's one of the biggest missteps for college athletics. In that, Joe Q student, he's not taking B-Law anymore with, so-and-so from the football team or the basketball team, and build some relationship with somebody outside of kind of that football, basketball laboratory. And we got rid of the,
athletic dorm.
They couldn't wait to get rid of the jock dorm. And that was going to kind of make them regular.
Well, that was along your lines that you're talking about right now. That was the intent. I don't know how well it worked, but they took away the jock dorm because they wanted you to be more in the culture of being a college student, not just a college jock.
Which I think is a good thing for that athlete and for that student to have some identity. Wherever I went to school and I went to class with Tim Couch, and he was a normal good guy. I had accounting with Peyton Manning and T. Martin when I was in school at Knoxville. I think you're missing something on both sides for that student that could build some relationship, buddyship, kinship, friendship with that athlete. And I know the athlete's missing it instead of just constantly kind of being in that old East German Olympic mindset football, or all basketball, or all whatever, track, tennis, golf, whatever it is.
You know how I always brag?
There's a real world out here.
I brag on the Grove and how people love going to that because they relive their college days. If your college days are basically in your room on a computer, how much affinity have you got for that campus?
Exactly. I mean, it becomes a little antiseptic.
Well, and there's no doubt. I've got a friend, he's not an athlete, but his son this year had his first year at Florida, had an apartment, took classes online, and he said he may have had to go into the student population once a month, which is amazing to me. Now, some of these older coaches will tell you the downfall of college football, as far as kids getting in trouble, was when they got rid of the athletic dorms. But Brett's got a real point there. Is look for some of these players. I mean, they never really get into the real world, do they? As for if they've got an elective or something like that, I get that. But largely, I mean, what you're doing right now is in some of these football buildings, these guys probably are over there for working out and therapy, and then, as Brett mentioned, if they're taking online classes, and then they eat over there. And then they rest over there. So, I mean, some of these guys, they may be in these buildings 12 to 18 hours a day.
And Brent, I'm afraid that you're mentioning like even surgical units and everything so self-contained, and a lot of it is they don't want football player going to American history class and he's got his elbow in a sling, and somebody tweet out, "Hey, All-American linebackers,"
or have a picture of it.
Got elbow in a sling. I don't know if he's good to go on Saturday.
Yeah, well, there's two things with that. One is just exactly what you said. But all this revolves around control. This is basically that, and we love them, but we understand them. It is your basic paranoia that you've got with a lot of these coaches, in that they like to control not only every dribble on the court, in every pass on the field, but pretty much everything else that goes along too. So that is very true. The more contained it is inside the building, the more they can control it.
I think that's true and you pointed out that is not just a football thing. I think football coaches may be the most paranoid of all, but basketball coaches are very controlling too. Baseball coaches, they're all very controlling because they want their players focused on what they want them focused on.
Right. And if you don't ever leave, you can keep them in that mindset to be able to do that too, which also leads me to believe that, I mean, when you and this is sermon on another day, but for these coaches who say, I've got this rogue assistant who gave these players all this money and I don't know anything about that, well, it's hard to convince me that coaches, as much of control freaks as they are, don't know everything that's going on with people reporting back to them and so forth on their iPhone, every aspect of their program pretty much throughout the day and throughout the night, guys. So some of that goes with this stuff too.
Yeah, you just can't convince me, as controlling as these coaches are, that they know whether they're eating the red Jell-O or the green Jell-O. Then when something bad happens, I just didn't know anything about that going on.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's just no way I could have known all that. And I remember the first time I heard it, and it made sense. And then I started realizing it was a cop-out of, I can't control the 2 teenagers at my house. How can I control 100? Well, you do pretty well most of the time.
Yeah, you do.
There are guys that are control freaks, and I think Rick Pitino is the best example that I can think of. For him not to have known what was going on in that dorm is just absolutely falsehood.
Well, look, you can't have that going on for that long. Look, everyone, these coaches, guys, they could tell you probably within a couple of seconds how many paper clips they've got in some of these buildings, much less what's going on with these players. And one thing that you're beginning to see from the NCAA and dealing with these cases is that ignorance, or this false ignorance, is no longer acceptable. To say you didn't know, well, there are a lot of people now beginning to realize that, okay, let's just pretend for a minute we believe that. If you didn't know, should he be fired for not knowing? So a lot of what we used to hear is not holding water anymore.
Saturday night on September 21st, official CBS will be in Athens, and I don't blame them. Anytime you can get Notre Dame across any broadcast carrier, it's magic in the ratings. You put them against Georgia, set in Sanford Stadium, between the hedges, and it'll be a big Saturday night blockbuster TV rating for CBS. Georgia will be 3-0 when they face Notre Dame after wins over Vandy, Murray State, and Arkansas State. Kirby Smart last week. It could have been a much different trip around there the last 2 years for him. He could have been there this year with 2 in his pocket. He has none.
Well, but I still say they've made tremendous progress during that time, and obviously that they've got to get over the Alabama situation. And look, that and he will basically do that. That they're recruiting too well, they've coached too well for that not to happen. But as far as that game is concerned, one of the Georgia beat writers mentioned to me that that is the most anticipated game in Georgia history now, because they don't think Notre Dame will ever come there again.
Probably won't.
Now, that tells you not only about the game, but it also tells you about Power 5 playing Power 5.
Well, Notre Dame's going to do the ACC thing, too, mostly.
Yes, absolutely. But their thing is, we wish we could get a game like this with them, I don't know what, every 10, 15 years or something like that. But we don't think we'll see it again. That's why it's got so much importance.
Well, let's see. Notre Dame is going to play a service academy every year, right? Navy sometimes, Correct. Air Force sometimes, Army sometimes. So they rotate that, I'm pretty sure. And they by contract have to play. Is it 4 or 5 ACC games now?
Yeah, I think it's 5. Well, you're right. It's either one or the other. I think it's 5 every year. Look, I mean, I really don't have any trouble with Notre Dame's schedule. And then add what Dave said. I mean, you've got Southern Cal in there,
right?
Obviously, and you've got Michigan there on a from
pretty
time
regular
to time,
basis.
Regular basis too. So, I mean, kudos to Notre Dame and what they've got. And now, even though you're playing the service academies, you've got a team like Army that's playing as well right now as they have in their heyday of probably 50 years ago.
And in 2020 and 2021, Notre Dame's entering into a 2-year deal with Wisconsin. They'll play once at Lambeau in 2020 and once at Soldier Field in 2021. Yeah, you can knock whatever you want to knock about Notre Dame. Fine, it's not the schedule. They are the good guy in the scheduling world.
I'll tell you what I like. They have to play X amount of ACC games, and you could probably figure that out real quick. They're going to play a military academy almost every year. That goes back to tradition and history. They play like a MAC school, like a Western Michigan or a Toledo.
They never play FBS, ever.
That's somehow in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Then they're going to play a Big Ten. They're going to play a team. Well, Pitt now they used to play Pitt and Penn State because they played Eastern Powers, but now those schools are in conferences.
And they're always
going to play USC quite a bit.
They're always going to end the year on the West Coast in even number years at SC and odd number years at Stanford.
And that's right.
And
that's
listen,
exactly
what really has worked in their favor right now is this ACC schedule. The ACC is not as good as it was, arguably, 3 or 4 years ago when they really had seemingly rebounded.
It's pretty good at the top.
Obviously, if Miami and Florida State resurrect themselves, well, we know what Clemson is, but that's an advantage for Notre Dame with the ACC the way it is. But again, no critiquing the Notre Dame schedule. They've earned accolades there.
I would love the SEC schools to play as many tough of course, the whole thing is a non-conference, except for the 4 games. I guess they play the ACC.
And next year, Notre Dame they'll get Trevor Lawrence and Clemson next year, so they play them. I just want no FBS, Brent. No FBS. Don't do that to your season ticket holders.
I'd kind of like to see the SEC go to a 9th league game.
Well, me too.
I think we're at the point, guys, to where these schools are beginning to realize that they really cannot have 2 of these games a year, but because these fans are paying way too much money for the right, not for the tickets, but for the right to buy the tickets, and then for the tickets, and then parking, all that goes with it. So Brett's right. I mean, look, the sooner that can go, the better we're all going to be.
He is Brent Beard. He is in Jacksonville. We talk football, college style, with him every week. Thank you, Brent. Have a great weekend.
Always a pleasure, guys. Enjoyed it. Take care.
Thank you, Brent. Have a good rest of the week. We'll talk to you again next Tuesday. Brent Beard talking college football with us. Part of our coverage last week at SEC Media Days, and this week at the golf tournament at the WGC, being brought to you by Jason's Deli. All those great salads at Jason's Deli, like the Mesa chicken salad, the chicken club salad, the nutty mixed up salad. I know Chris and the gang will be out feeding the volunteers one of the days out at the golf tournament. We're going to put him on for a little while and visit with him. Big New York Met fan, so we'll visit with him about the Mets. All the meats, all the breads, all the cheeses, all the spreads, all the great soups, all the great food at Jason's Deli. All about choice at Jason's Deli, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals. If you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build your own selections, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. The location's on Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Plenty of organic food to choose from. Great salad bar, over 30 items just on the salad bar. Catering anytime, anywhere. And in these locations, free ice cream at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com. That's jasonsdeli.com.
You know, one of their owners, Keith Patterson, nice story written about him in the Commercial Appeal about aspiring to become an SEC basketball referee. He's already done plenty of games in the American, and I don't think he's partaking in that ice cream.
No, he's not. He is ripped.
They say when you own it, you're never going to eat it. I would be in big trouble if I own that. I might not get in my car. Speaking of which, our title sponsor for this hour of the program is Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. Chris True's the general manager there, and they've got the Hyundai Assurance. All the Hyundai dealerships have this. That's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on all their new products. My Santa Fe, the new Palisade, which you'll go crazy for. The Kona, the Tucson, the Elantra, the Veloster, all of that product, you get assurance. But at Homer Skelton Hyundai, this is Chris True's deal, you get the shopper assurance. And that means transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days. When you decide to buy, and you will because you'll fall in love with it, you're in and out. You're not going to be there for 3 or 4 hours. And then the best part is if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind and exchange the car. Nobody does it like Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. Just get on Lamar. You're in Mississippi in 10 minutes. Turn left, right at Craft Road, exit number 1. And you'll see the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. We take a break. We're back in a minute. Again, we are at a wonderful place, a little log cabin that is not so little. When you come inside the Spirit Shop, please get here. People are registering like crazy. We've got golf tickets for Sunday, 2 pair. We've got a gift certificate to the butcher shop. We got a bunch of little giveaways that we might do.
Got tasting?
And we got a tasting, and it's starting. All you got to do is drop by, and you can try Riverset Rye or Blue Note Bourbon. See what you think. One's 3 years old, one's 9 years old. Do you know the difference? Come check it out at the Spirit Shop. Back in a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Tune into Johnny Radio's Happy Hour with John Harden, weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Have you noticed your air conditioning system never breaks down at a good time? We know at Conway Services the timing is never right to replace your air conditioning system. That's why we have financing options. Right now, during the dog days of summer, get your new Carrier air conditioning system as low as $99 per month. That's right, Conway Services has new Carrier air conditioning systems as low as $99 per month. Now, you could do that. Plus, your new air conditioning system comes with a 10-year parts warranty and a free programmable thermostat. And you know with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Did you know Davis Motorhome Mart is one of the top 10 Tiffin dealers in the U.S.? Come tour the 7.5 acres of beautiful travel trailers, motorhomes, fifth wheels, and toy haul or towables half-tons. Motorhomes from 27 feet up to 45 feet from brands like Winnebago, Coachman, Puma, Highland Ridge, and Tiffin. Take advantage of Davis Motorhome Mart's big blowout sale on 2019s and 2020s on their way. Stop by your gateway to travel freedom. Davis Motorhome Mart at 1145 East Brooks Road in Memphis. Call 901-332-3414 and cruise by the website davismotorhomes.com.
A good friend of mine often says that golfers are the best athletes. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. Now, I don't want to embarrass Ed by mentioning his name, but if you stop and think about it, he may be right. Just like the best real estate agent may not be who you think. Like a left tackle in football, a golfer hits it hard off the tee. Like a sprinter, the golfer walks down the fairway to reach his ball. Then like a quarterback who wants to connect with a distant target, the golfer hits the ball again, and in my case, again and again and again. So if you or someone you know is thinking of selling a home, draft your team by interviewing the players. Find out who will block that offensive lineman from knocking your deal down. And find out about the Shell Bucks option play. When interviewing, call or email me to find out why people often say, when you want the job done, call Shell Done. You can reach me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now and don't fumble that ball.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf with their sizzling summer savings specials. Look for hot deals on items like TaylorMade TP5 Picks golf balls, now 2 dozen for only $80. Cleveland CBX wedges for only $99.99. That's a $30 savings. And save up to $200 on Rogue irons. Just a few of the hot specials you'll find now at Edwin Watts Sizzling Summer Savings. Edwin Watts, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, serving golfers since 1968.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so, too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing. DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. We are at the Spirit Shop, Poplar and St. Nick. Folks are stopping by. We got a River Set Rye tasting, a Blue Note bourbon tasting. If you're in the neighborhoods, hey, check out your palates. It's free, and we're doing that until 7. The gentleman that owns the distillery, I think we're going to chat with him in a little bit. We've got plenty more coming your way, including Beau Marchant on the NFL in a little bit. Brett's already been out there. I will be out there starting tomorrow morning all the way through this WGC. And I must say, when you look at groupings like Phil Mickelson, Thorbjorn Olsen, that's 2 guys right there, followed by Billy Horschel. Then J.B. Holmes, Alex Noren. How about Matthew Wolff? He's followed that with Ian Poulter. These are all threesomes. I'm not reading all the names, but I will the next groups. Justin Rose, Matt Kuchar, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, Jason Day, Kevin Kisner, Patrick Reed, Lucas Biergaard. Come on. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's very different than in the past, and it just about every group. I mean, you can go through and either won on tour in the last 2 years and or won a major.
Bubba Watson and Adam Scott.
Yeah, or won a major at some point in their career. I mentioned 19 players out of the 63 at some point in their career already winners of a major. It'll be terrific. We'll be out there all day tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. We want you to come by and visit with us. Still plenty of time to get by the Spirit Shop, though. In Resher, we've had a flurry of activity. We appreciate it. And we want people to come by and Resher and visit with us. A lot of people ready for the golf tournament this week, talking baseball for the rest of the summer. I think people are captivated by the number of good teams that we touched on way back to kind of start the show. A lot of college football talk. We were talking with Brent Beard about Notre Dame, and historically that schedule, they really don't back up from anybody. Now, when you schedule some of these games, you don't know how up or down are they going to be. Case in point. They have to play the ACC teams. But when Louisville first popped up as the opener,
that would have been a good game
in 2019. That's not Notre Dame's fault with the day they play them that it is kind of is falling this level. Week 2 against New Mexico. That's Bob Davie. That's got a little cachet with them. But the day they scheduled New Mexico, they knew they were going to win. Then at Georgia, home against Virginia, the ACC thing, Bowling Green, the MAC thing, the neighborhood, the Midwest thing.
Right.
The odd number year, middle of the year in South Bend against USC. And then late October at Michigan, usually when they play Michigan more toward the top of the schedule, then they play Justin Fuente and Virginia Tech to start November. Then at Duke, again, more the ACC thing, the military academy thing with Navy at home in South Bend this year. Then Boston College, and think of all the years.
But they used to play them anyway.
And that Boston College is rim-wrecked a season for Notre Dame.
Right, yeah.
Good Notre Dame teams, Tom Coughlin.
Absolutely.
And then they end the year at Stanford. I just wish – I know they got a lot more flexibility than some. I just wish in the SEC my 9 games and no FBS would be adopted. I don't think it ever will be, but I wish it would be.
Well,
I don't mean that for everybody. I think non-Power 5 – should keep them an FBS team in there because they're playing tougher non-conference. Keep them a little leeway in their scheduling where they can get to the 6 or the requisite 6 or even better than that for the season.
Well, let's just look at that schedule. And I'm certainly not slighting it, really. But if they run the table there, and there is in 4 of the 5 power conferences that they run a schedule, I don't think that is going to hold up.
You don't think they go undefeated against that schedule?
I say if they do, but there are 4 other teams from 4 of the 5 major conferences that run tables.
That's a lot of running the table.
It is.
I just don't think that many people would go undefeated.
I tend to agree with you, but if they did, I don't think that stacks up.
I think it does. I think that would hold up pretty well. Now, does it against SEC Big Ten, but it's hard for all those to do it. And last year was the case in point. Notre Dame went undefeated regular season and then, got blasted in the semis by Clemson.
Right.
But after a critical defensive back injury.
But Clemson, look what Clemson then did to the SEC champion. So that was a special Clemson team. But
beat Alabama.
My point is,
beat Alabama worse than they did Notre Dame.
Right. If they beat If Clemson runs the table in the ACC, if Alabama or an SEC team runs the table, if the Big Ten runs the table, and Oklahoma or Texas were to run the table,
that's a lot of running the table.
In the Big, I agree, but this they got to run the table too.
Yeah, Notre Dame they almost have no on opening day leeway.
I would not make them the favorites at Georgia, would you?
No, I don't know if I'd make them favorite at Michigan. Would you?
No, I wouldn't.
I don't know that right now that I would make them the favorite at Stanford. Last game of the year.
Well,
be close.
A lot of stuff happens between now and then. I'm not going to.
A lot of football.
I'm not going to go there. It's at Stanford though, so it'll be a tough game because they got to travel and they got to travel 2 time zones.
The week after Georgia, and not just because it's the week after going to Georgia, but Virginia, and what Bronco Mendenhall's doing. When last time we saw Virginia in the bowl game, putting it on South Carolina.
They did. So we'll see. I would not, based on that schedule, I think Notre Dame has a hard time getting back into the playoffs.
Were you surprised that Jim Harbaugh at Big Ten Media Days, and even after that, referenced that he's looking at maybe playing 2 quarterbacks, Shea Patterson splitting some time with the youngest McCaffrey?
I'm surprised before they started camp that he said this.
I am too. What do you think the motivation is?
I guess it's to tell Shea Patterson that he better start working his butt off. And I have no idea what kind of work ethic Shea Patterson has. I have no idea if he wasn't in the gym every day, in the weight room every day, doing sprints, throwing passes.
I need more motivation
with his teammates. But one would suspect when a guy says that before camp that he's telling his quarterback he didn't work hard enough. That's my suspicion. I don't know that for a fact.
When I heard it over the weekend, the first thing that hit me is what I've been asking. I hadn't been saying it. I hadn't been matter of fact about it. I'm just wondering if Jim Harbaugh is now thinking maybe he's just not that good. And I may be needing to get somebody else ready.
Maybe some guys that are not that good that have all the tools that Shea Patterson has that we saw when he came out of high school, maybe that's his problem. Maybe it's work ethic. I don't know. I'm not sure what they were saying at Ole Miss about, how he practiced and, how tough he was.
Pretty tough. I mean, he was in there. He pretty hard-nosed player.
So it'll be interesting. I've got the feeling Shea Patterson is his quarterback to start the year.
But playing for a hard-nosed guy in Jim Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm. No question about it. Won't be long when we start camp. Memphis will start camp, I believe, in about a week.
Florida and Miami, because they open Saturday, August 24th, they start this weekend.
Right.
They get a week on everybody. Michigan opens opening day against Middle Tennessee. Shea Patterson will be the first one out there, won't he? He'll be the quarterback against Middle, won't he?
Yeah, I promise you he will be. And he'll have to do something bad to lose that job. But I agree. I think this is the year there is a lot of pressure on Jim Harbaugh. He's picked to win over Ohio State this year.
At home.
He's at home. And he's got a returning quarterback.
Michigan State at home.
This is the year. And if he doesn't do it this year, as you like to say, when?
Iowa at home. Where does he play Purdue this year? He doesn't play Purdue this year. Went to Purdue last year and got blasted.
Well, that's a good thing for him.
Yeah.
Although, maybe Purdue's going
to go to
Wisconsin. Purdue has never been one of those schools that, every once in a while they end up with a good quarterback and make something happen. But it's not an everyday thing. Certainly not one of the more consistent programs in the Big Ten.
Michigan, they have to go to Wisconsin, and it doesn't matter who the coach at Wisconsin is. They always put a good team on the field.
They do, and they're always physical. They run the ball.
They do.
And part of that, I think, is it's built on the weather because it gets colder there.
Whether
it's easier to run than
Barry
throw.
Alvarez or Brett Bielema or Anderson or now Paul Chryst, they always have a really proud team.
And you're right. It seems as if – but they have a ceiling.
They do. They sure do.
They can't seem to get past Michigan or Ohio State.
And stay past them.
And
they might nick one of them.
Right.
They're always good at bowl time.
They are. They are. You put a lot more value on bowls than I do.
And it's a lot of 2 stars from Kenosha out there that you've never heard of. Well, and they get a lot out of them.
They do. They're big guys.
Tell Mike Norvell the bowls don't matter. See how he responds to that.
Well, I'll ask him.
No, don't ask him. You tell him. You tell him how you feel about the bowls and see how he likes that.
Okay, well, in my estimation, when players don't play in these games anymore and there's 6 weeks between your last game and the bowl game itself, and sometimes, and a lot of times, it's a percentage. A coach doesn't because he's gone. I don't think the way the system is now, it is like it was when you were growing up.
No, it's definitely not that. But I guarantee you Mike Norvell wants to win.
Oh, I think Mike Norvell wants to win every game he coaches. Absolutely. But, let me take the first time we played in the Birmingham Bowl, and Darrell Dickey was the interim coach. Those players didn't take that game as seriously as they would have had Fuente stayed. Yeah. And I hate to say this, but I don't think Paxton Lynch was all that concentrating on game plan as he was not getting hurt so he could be drafted.
I don't know if he was very healthy.
Maybe not. He didn't play like he did during the regular season.
No, he sure didn't. And after he took that helmet to the knee down at Houston, his mechanics really were never the same anywhere, here in Memphis or with the Broncos.
I hope he does the most he can with a second opportunity with Seattle. Let's face it, Russell Wilson is going to have to go down for him to get any kind of real major snaps here, and I don't want that to happen for anybody. But if he does get a shot, and he's getting backup snaps in exhibition games and in practices, I hope he makes the most. I hope he studies the playbook and gets the concept.
Yeah, Russell Wilson is definitely who they want out there, but if he had to go in, ooh.
How many first-round relatively high picks at the quarterback position get shots and get traded and make it?
I don't know an exact percentage.
I would have to think it's very small.
But to even get another chance.
Mm-hmm. And I'm happy about that for him.
Yeah, and the quarterback issue in Denver, John Elway, I don't know if he thinks he still can play quarterback. I don't know if anybody can please him at quarterback. It's been hard. I mean, even Peyton Manning sometimes couldn't please him.
Well, that's true. Is Joe Flacco going to please him?
Joe Flacco at the end? I don't know.
That's weird to say, Joe Flacco at the end. I remember Joe Flacco playing in the division, or not division, 1AA. I guess it was
FCS.
Was it FCS then, or was it 1AA?
FCS.
It was FCS, playing my guys. My Southern Illinois University Salukis actually was semifinals, and they blew him out. He was good.
And Joe Flacco's had a good career, but it's at the end, and he can have he can write a different story. I just think John Elway has a really high bar for anybody playing quarterback.
We are sitting here at this wonderful place called the Spirit Shop, and you know what's here. All the spirits that you can handle. Great, literally terrific just display from the floor to the ceiling of all kinds of spirits. If it's vodka or tequila or any kind of premium wine or bargain wine, they've got it here, that's for sure. And we're giving away tickets on Sunday to the golf. We have two different sets of tickets, two pair of tickets. We got a Butcher Shop gift certificate. We'll give that away about 5:45. We got a rye and bourbon tasting going on, so it's worth your while to stop by Poplar and St. Nick. This portion of the show is brought to you by Memphis Public Links, where youth golf is king. You don't pay for youth golf. That's the thing. It's better play every day at Memphis Public Links, but they want to grow the game. And you'll see 1 million kids, I hope, out at TPC Southwind because they're learning the game. They're falling in love with the game. And that's the whole point of Memphis Public Links. If you are a young guy, under 17, you can play any golf course with the exception of Galloway, and you can play Galloway for free with the family on Saturday. All junior golfers 17 and under, free greens fees. Now you can't ride in a cart. You got to walk, but it's worth it. Monday through Friday after 12, and on weekends, even holidays after 12. You, 17 and under, can play all the golf courses for free. There's junior clinics just about every day, 4:30 to 6:30 at Whitehaven, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at Pine Hill. Family golf I mentioned at Galloway. That's Saturday afternoons after 12. And then women's golf, the Links at Overton. Every Wednesday at 3:30, there's a clinic. It's cheap, $15, and then 9 holes of golf with a cart fee and beverages. What a deal. All you got to do is head on over to Memphis Public Golf.
Over the weekend, I tried to catch up on Big Ten Media Days on Big Ten Network, a lot of it in replay. And I've said before, though, pound for pound guy that gets the most out of his team year in and year out. And over the career, I love Pat Fitzgerald. He made a lot of news at Big Ten Media Day when he weighed in about our iPhones and the phones being the bane of Western civilization and the ruination of society. He didn't go that far, but he was talking about how distracted we all are, that he thinks that's hurt the live gates. I think some of kind of the 50,000 feet views he was hitting on, he's mostly right. But when I was watching Big Ten Media Days, they haven't all worked out and they haven't all been great. But I was thinking of the name coaches, either they've made a name for themselves in the job they're doing in the Big Ten or somewhere else. You know, a guy like Lovie Smith, who really needs a good year this year with Illinois.
Good luck.
Kurt Ferentz, so I think a pretty legendary career at Iowa.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. I mean, he's been there how many years?
Forever. Mark D'Antoni at Michigan State.
You know what Pat Fitzgerald has done besides win at Northwestern? He has changed the whole perception and look. Have you seen their facilities?
I've heard
right
about
on Lake Michigan. They're stunning. I don't know if you can have. Well, maybe at Annapolis. I've seen the practice facilities at the Naval Academy. That overlooks the water. That's pretty cool. But Lake Michigan, where they are in Evanston, is pretty spectacular.
But I know Tom Allen at Indiana. It's a tough job. He's entering his third year. I know Tom Allen is a good football coach. P.J. Fleck at Minnesota. I was looking at the Big Ten coaches. Braum at Penn State, Franklin at Penn State, Scott Frost at Nebraska. And I was thinking, I'm not so sure their roster of coaches, if you paired them up against any league, I think it's better than the SEC.
We could think about that in a minute. All I know is there is a gentleman who's just come in. I hope he's trying the rye and the bourbon tasting, but he is now at this very moment registering to win tickets and Butcher Shop. I don't know that I've ever seen a better looking golf shirt or cap
adorned in Cubby gear.
This guy that's beautiful. That is called Natalie.
So he
attire.
doesn't want the Bob Gibson or Ozzie Smith collage.
No, I'm waiting to give that to somebody.
Gibson, I remember.
He remembers Bob Gibson well.
Very good.
We all remember Bob Gibson. We take the break. We're back in just a minute here at the Spirit Shop. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
From Penny, the Tiger player.
I think it's just Anthony Hardaway this and Anthony Hardaway that, but we have just more than one player on the team.
Through Penny, the Tiger coach.
Well, I think the main game plan is we can teach you. We're going to develop you. We're going to get you better.
For over 25 years, we have been real sports talk for Memphis in the Mid-South. Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
I'm here with the Rendezvous's first female waitress, Joanna McKee. First thing, how was it being the first female waitress at such a legendary place?
I have to say it was pretty awesome, but it's also nice to be sharing the spotlight now.
I hear things have changed regarding reservations at the Rendezvous.
They have. Last December, we started taking reservations for parties of 8 or more, and that was a really big hit, so we've been doing it ever since.
Nice, Joanna.
Yeah, we're just trying to make it easier for people to come down here. We also are doing something great called valet parking. So we subsidize with the valet parking companies to try to keep the price down. It's only $8, which is really cheaper than most of the parking garages in our area.
What about picking up food to go? Where can one park for that? Do you have to pay for parking?
You do not have to pay to park. You just pull into the alley, pull up to the parking sign, put on your flashers, and we'll have you in and out in about 10 minutes.
So takeaway is you can now make reservations for parties of 8 or more. Valet parking is available. If you want a little rendezvous at home, you guys and gals make it easy.
You got it.
The Rendezvous, a family restaurant in the alley in downtown Memphis since 1948.
For the World Golf Championship FedEx St. Jude Invitational, Landers Ford in Collierville has supplied 200 new Fords for the pros to drive. 120 new 2019 Ford Expedition XLT EcoBooster now demo priced up to $15,000 off MSRP. Don Kitchens, tell us more.
A portion of the proceeds goes directly to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Visit LandersMemphis.com.
VIN number 1MFMJU 1HT7KE A06845 MSRP 61250. Offer includes $97.80 and Ford rebates and $52.20 dealer discount. Sale price $46.20. Vehicle subject to prior sale. Price plus tax title license and $499.50 processing fee. Offer in 731.19.
Introducing Top Tracer Range, the new ball tracking and gaming system at Golf and Games Family Park. Top Tracer gathers data such as distance, carry, ball speed, and more. Compete against friends in a points game, long drive, and virtual golf at courses such as Pebble Beach and St. Andrews. Golf and Games Family Park is a great setting for group and company outings, golf lessons, or individual practice. Experience fun, friends, family, and introducing Top Tracer Range, the new ball tracking and gaming system at Golf and Games Family Park, 5484 Summer Avenue.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving. Built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
Non-attorney spokesperson. Attention! If you've had hernia surgery and have experienced complications such as chronic pain, infection, wound reopening, mesh migration, bowel obstruction, need revision surgery, or other complications, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Hernia repair surgery is common and requires a mesh product to be implanted inside your body. In May of 2016, the manufacturer of a popular hernia mesh product issued a mandatory global recall due to product defects. If you've had hernia surgery and have experienced complications, you may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Call the Hernia Mesh Helpline now at 800-957-7062. Our experienced attorneys will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. You pay nothing unless we get a recovery in your favor. Time is limited to file a claim, so call the Hernia Mesh Helpline now, 800-957-7062. Operators are standing by 24/7. Call 800-957-7062. That's 800-957-7062.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Second hour disappearing here at the Spirit Shop, Poplar and St. Nick.
Great
Please
crowd. Come on by.
Come by. We've had a whole bunch of folks stop by. You'll love it.
We got room for you.
We got a tasting going on, too. You'll like that. We do have room. I'm amazed at how they were able to squeeze us into this place. You were talking a little earlier yesterday, I think it was, about high school football. And some new rules have come out, and I like this because they are starting way too early. But I don't know if you saw it, this TSSAA has now put in with football practice, you must start 2 days in helmets only. 3 days, you can do shoulder pads. And after the 5th day, on the 6th day, you can begin full pads. That's to sort of acclimate with the heat. I like the idea.
Yeah, I like it. I like any acclimation to it because it just one instance too many, and I know with a large number, there's going to be one, and I don't want to sacrifice and throw anybody overboard because I sure wouldn't want mine or someone I cared about being treated like that. There are some perils to it. I just think we could be a lot smarter with going into the teeth of late July and early August with it. I wish – I know it's not going to happen. I wish we could shorten every football season and start them all a little bit later and try to get out of some of this – searing heat.
You're just not going back.
It's just not going to happen. So
that's it. You know why? Because it's become television programming.
We'll have another game, and I don't know how with a straight face we can say, all right, a 13-game regular college football season and maybe a conference championship game and layers of bowls. But we still can't give you anything but 3 square meals and books and tuition and maybe a little walking around.
I don't see how that.
I just don't know
that
how
won't get accomplished. I think
you'll
end up having to give more and more. And the rights and images thing is going to come up, and I think in the end that wins.
Now, one thing I hear a lot of blowback on the LSU, and they're tweeting out of their facilities, and you can get ready for almost every response to it. Yeah, but you can't pay the players. And on cue, I mean, you can get ready for the Jay Billis sermonette from him. Look, there's no allocation of it right now. There's no distribution way. There's no way that they can pay them right now. They probably should. They probably could if they really wanted to, but they're not right now. So what else are they supposed to do? Not have nice facilities?
Well,
and in the SEC, I don't care if it's the equestrian team. It's that nice.
I want to ask you this. If you were a player and you were given the choice of
a place to take a nap or cash, give me cash.
Of cash or a waterfall in my locker room.
Give me cash.
What do you want?
I'm going to take the cash every time on any of those scenarios.
Exactly. And if they do increase the amount of games, they're going to have to share the wealth with labor.
That's right.
That's basically the way it's always worked in sports, and eventually it's going to get here.
But Jay Billis almost hits this sanctimonious tone like Duke basketball is not being treated well. Where do you think they're going and eating on road trips?
Where are they staying?
Yeah.
How about that charter jet they got?
Where did he stay when he was there 30 years ago?
And he got a Duke education, which paid off in the long run. No doubt about that. We are at the Spirit Shop, Poplar and St. Nick. You go a couple of blocks west, and you'll find one of my favorite restaurants. Of course, it's one of four. That's Soulfish, because there's four of them. Soulfish Cafe. Started in Cooper Young. Best catfish going. You said it. In Memphis Most. I didn't. Best soul food, best seafood. 3 different categories. And not only is it in my neighborhood, as I mentioned, which is right down the street here, the old Wolf Camera location, about a block and a half, 2 blocks east of Perkins, on Poplar. But it started in Cooper Young. It went to the shops of Forest Hill, Irene, and Germantown, right on the Collierville border. Then they opened up one in Little Rock. They opened up one in Oxford. They're opening up one in Wolf Chase. That'll be open soon. It is something else. The food is just terrific. You'll love it. They're always crowded, but there's a reason. The catfish and the food and the veggies and the desserts are all that good. Go check it out. Soulfish Cafe. We got 2 hours in the books. When we come back, little NFL talk, because that's a week away. Beau Marchant from collegetopro.com. He's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Family Leisure's pool clearance sale is July 8th through the 21st. Above ground pools starting at $11.99. 24-foot pools starting at $17.99. And you can get free upgrades on select pools that include pool filters, liners, and winter covers. Special 12-month financing is available. Plus, half off on toys, floats, and pool games. Summer's just started. There's plenty of time to swim, so make a splash at the Family Leisure Pool Clearance Sale. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Sir Edmund Hillary was the first person to conquer Mount Everest. The first time he tried, he failed. He was knighted by the Queen of England, and at the gala occasion, on the wall behind the head table, was a huge picture of Mount Everest. The people gave him a standing ovation for even daring to attempt the climb. When they ceased applauding, Hillary turned his back to the audience, faced that picture of the awesome mountain, and said, "Mount Everest, you have defeated me once, and you might defeat me again. But I'm coming back again and again, and I'm going to win because you can't get any bigger, Mount Everest, and I can." What an attitude. What a difference it would make if we would say when we face the mountains in our own lives, you may defeat me once, you may defeat me twice, but you're not going to defeat me forever. I'm coming back and I'm going to win because you can't get any bigger and I can. I'm Shane Stanford from Christchurch, Memphis. Remember, you matter.
Visit ChristchurchMemphis.org.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Hi, folks. Rob Walker, Infiniti of Memphis, and we've got a new Infiniti crossover vehicle that has raised the standard of comparison to a new level. Imagine having both sports car performance and eco-friendly efficiency on demand, working together to empower every driving experience. The result of 20 years of engineering, QX50's award-winning variable compression turbo engine is the world's only engine of its kind. Like two engines in one, it delivers a combination of power and efficiency that is truly in a category all its own, and only Infiniti has it. You'll never sacrifice performance for the sake of efficiency again. And QX50 MSRP starts at only $36,550, which is less than its Acura, Audi, and Mercedes competitors. Add to that QX50's award-winning sumptuous interior, and you have the best combination of performance and comfort in the mid-size crossover segment.
MSRP excludes destination charge, tax, title, license, and options. Infiniti of Memphis or online at infinitiofmemphis.com.
Gun enthusiasts in the Mid-South know all about guns and ammo at 3615 Summer and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven, because they carry the largest selection of both guns and ammo in the area. They are authorized dealers of Colt, Benelli, CZ, Smith & Wesson, Glock, Ruger, Sig Sauer, Vergara, and a lot more. If you or someone you know is looking for something for self-defense, competition, hunting, or just something that goes boom, then get to Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer in Memphis and 577 Goodman Road, Suite 4 at the corner of Goodman and Elmore in South Haven.
The best golfers in the world are coming to Memphis for the inaugural WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Sports 56 and 87.7 FM will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news and talking with players and officials. Our coverage from TPC Southwind on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM is presented by Landers Ford. It's also brought to you by Curry and Jerk, Miller Lite, MemphisFarmers.com, Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center, and the Half Shell.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome into... could be San Diego. It is so gorgeous out there, or low humidity, temperature. Well, it may have reached 80. Right now could be in the high 70s. Oh, my gosh. How gorgeous is it? We're having a great day. We are at the Spirit Shop. That is Poplar and St. Nick, and it's that little log cabin. You've heard me talking about it now for years. So many wonderful spirits and supplies right here, and packed from floor to ceiling, and we've got giveaways. We are giving away a couple of pair of tickets to the Sunday FES, to the WGC FESJI, and a $50 gift certificate to the butcher shop. We'll give it away in about 40 minutes or so. We also are in the middle of a Riverset Rye and Blue Note Bourbon tasting. If you come in, check out your palate, see what this is like, and they've got these things on sale. One's a 3-year-old, one's a 9-year-old. See if you can tell the difference. We got a tasting going on right here at the beautiful Spirit Shop.
This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales, where they specialize in late model cars with low mileage, high standards at DeSoto Auto Sales. All the cars test driven, all checked out head to toe, and they have an unlimited inventory. If by chance they don't have the car you want, they'll go out and find it for you. Every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. You walk in DeSoto Auto Sales, you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, down-home, laid-back environment. But they do very much care about your time and want you to have the ultimate car experience. You walk in the door within 45 minutes. You can test drive your car, get credit approved, finish paperwork, and gone in about an hour. Unbelievable. We're living in a world today that time matters, and they know that at DeSoto Auto Sales. Check them out. Check out the referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com or go visit them at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County to DeSoto Auto Sales and have that laid-back, no-pressure sales experience, town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales on Goodman Road.
Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com joins us every week in this time slot to talk National Football League.
Dave's hopping mad, Bo.
Oh, I'm mad. I am upset with The Athletic. There's a guy that does a poll. He
one guy, one place.
No. This is done right. This guy was with ESPN. Now he's doing it for the Athletic, and he talks to 55 coaches and GMs. So these are all NFL big shots. They're good minds. They rate the quarterbacks, and they do it through tiers. Usually it's 5 quarterbacks to the first tier, but there are so many good quarterbacks that there are actually 8 in the first tier this year by the point system that he's used throughout all these years. And I bring this up because in the past, I think we've talked about there's a shortage of really quality quarterbacks in the NFL. I think
not anymore.
There's a bunch.
If you can keep them healthy.
There's a shortage of backup quality quarterbacks.
Sure.
But if you look when Mitch Trubisky
is only second. That's what Dave's mad about. This guy listening
he
second.
Is 25. Your guy Eli is 24.
Yeah.
That tells you there's some pretty good quarterbacks in this league. I don't think there's a shortage of good starting quarterbacks.
Yeah, from that list, I didn't see it, but put it in Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, I'm sure if you get down to the nooks and crannies and start counting these guys off, I'd like to think that, off the top of my head, I would like to think that Mitchell Trubisky would be 15 to 16 off the top of my head.
You know what? I think that's all right. Cam Newton is 15. Kirk Cousins is 16 on this list.
Yeah, so I think he's definitely, and I would probably even rank a healthy Cam Newton, a little higher. If the shoulder, you definitely take him down a notch.
Well,
but
all right, see if you would. Would you agree Aaron Rodgers is 1?
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that.
Or Brady.
Well, the point is this is their projections for this year. So they think Rodgers is going to have a great year and Brady's second. Drew Brees 3, Patrick Mahomes. Now that may be a little bit higher than I would have thought, but pretty good. 4.
I bet he doesn't throw for 50 touchdowns this year.
No, I don't think he will either.
No.
Andrew Luck 5, Phillip Rivers 6, Ben Roethlisberger 7, Russell Wilson 8. That's your first tier.
You know what? I think those guys, in my mind, I think those guys are looking on the success and maybe the teams overall, which I guess packs into how these guys are going to play out. But, all those guys are, Super Bowl guys, except for Rivers and Luck. It's hard to argue that.
Who would you not have in those 8?
I guess, can I hear the rest of the list to see who I'm forgetting?
All right.
I guess that's...
All right. 9 is Matt Ryan. 10 is Carson Wentz. 11 is Matt Stafford. 12, and both Brett and I agree this guy shouldn't be this high. Deshaun Watson is 12.
He's good, but
Jared Goff is 13, and Baker Mayfield 14.
Wow. Man, they really put it to Mitchell.
And that
yeah.
By the way, that's tier 2.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if I were to take anyone out of the first 8 with the guys. I mean, I guess you're just kind of getting into the nitpicky stuff if you prefer, Matt Ryan over Russell Wilson. I would personally, I'd still be hell bent on not putting Cam Newton in that 8 if I was making my list. I just think
how healthy is
Cam
he?
Newton. Yeah, well, that's the question. But if he's healthy, I think he's as dangerous as any quarterback that in that group. Yeah, I guess it's a good thing, but I mean Trubisky at 25, that's a shocking, especially coming from people in the business that have a really good gauge of this. Maybe they're trying to sleep on that and try to not admit. And maybe I'll help you here or cheer you up. Maybe they're trying to hide the fact that they're scared about how good the Bears are going to be, so they don't want to give them that much love.
Oh, I don't know. Then so we mentioned Newton 15, Cousins 16, Dak Prescott 17.
No. Absolutely not.
No.
They haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver since 2014. So,
no.
That whole offense is based around Zeke Elliott. And that's no disrespect to Dak, but
in riding that defense.
That's a run to him.
Yeah.
18 is Nick Foles. I think I'd rather have Mitch Trubisky than Nick Foles.
Foles MVP of a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But
pretty good.
I mean, magic in a bottle. Lightning in a bottle.
Jimmy Garoppolo 19, Derek Carr 20.
Garoppolo is the one that I don't get.
Yeah.
And I thought down the stretch of the 17 season, that was that was mostly nobody really coming at the 49ers. They're finishing out the year. And I said it, I never saw him really go down the field with the ball. Last year he got hurt. But you look at all the players out there, all the quarterbacks now in the NFL, and go through team by team. Either they've been on a Super Bowl champion, lost in a Super Bowl game, or appeared in a conference championship game. And that's the high level where we are right now in football. Well, of course, Brady checks all that. Pittsburgh, Big Ben checks all that. Andrew Luck checks that in an AFC championship game, the deflate game. Nick Foles for Jacksonville, he checks that. Joe Flacco in Denver checks that. Mahomes checked from last year.
Well, Flacco is 21, by the way.
The Chargers, Phillip Rivers, he checks that. Dak Prescott, he didn't play in an NFC championship game, did he?
I don't know. They didn't make an NFC championship game.
The year with the Packers, did they lose before the The year that the Packers beat them?
No, that was Romo, wasn't it? The Dez Bryant.
Oh, that was
right.
Romo.
That's Tony Romo.
Yeah, that was Romo.
And how about this note for the Cowboys? Only Washington and the Lions has it been longer for them to appear in an NFC championship game than the Cowboys. Only Detroit and Washington. But you keep going through. Eli's career, he has.
Well, even their
Aaron Rodgers,
even their number 22,
Cam has,
Andy
has.
Dalton. He played in the AFC Championship game with Cincinnati, didn't he?
Breeze has.
Yeah.
Goff did last year. Wilson. We've got. You have to. Quarterback position in the NFL, high level. Now, of course, anybody says backup goes in, it's an appreciable drop.
It's massive. Very few. And, we saw, if you have it, and that was why the Eagles were fortunate enough to, hoist the Lombardi, because they had the ride with Foles. The depth, but that list, I think outside maybe 10 guys, I think outside of 10, when you start going from 11 to 32, I think the majority of everyone would probably have the same 10, absent of maybe a few guys. And I think everything after that, I think kind of, I don't even know if you could have a tier. I know a couple years ago when the Falcons had the great year and they went to the Super Bowl. It was, Matt Ryan was, the next guy to come through, and he was going to be, the quarterback of the ages, and he kind of, came back to earth. You guys mentioned it as well. How is, the big year from Patrick Mahomes? How does he kind of come back from that amazing season he had?
He can't do that again.
It's hard to imagine.
He can be really good again, but he can't do that again. Carson Wentz, where's he on that list, Dave? I'm sorry.
Carson Wentz was, I believe, 10.
Oh, no way.
He's at the top of tier 2.
No way.
Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz, 9 and 10.
But
so they got a lot of respect for that guy who had one great 2/3 of his season before he got hurt.
Great, but got hurt.
I must say, Trubisky, he hasn't really proven totally yet what he can do.
That game that he's won, has he had his signature game, Bo?
Not that I recall, but I'm sure he has.
They beat Green Bay in Chicago. They should have beat him in Green Bay in the first game of the year.
Last year.
Right. They beat Green Bay in Chicago. He played pretty well in that game.
But he rides the defense. Well, what's new about a quarterback riding the defense in Chicago?
Is Matt Stafford as high? Should he be 11? It's honestly, what has Detroit done?
Well, I think 2 years ago he had 8 comebacks in the fourth quarter or something. So that's on a quarterback.
That must have been every game that they won because
it basically was every game. But in his defense, it's what around him. That's why I think this the list kind of gets misconstrued. Where Andrew Luck came back. If this list was made a year ago before Luck came back and the Colts played the way they did, he would have probably
so
been.
This is a poll of how they think they're going to be this year, which tells you one thing. Quarterback whisperer or no quarterback whisperer, they don't believe in Jameis Winston because he's 23 or 22. 23.
And you shouldn't believe in him, should you?
I would believe in Winston. I believe in Winston with Bruce Arians there more so than Nick Foles in Jacksonville. I just would.
I'm not a believer in Nick Foles at all.
Yeah, I'm just not.
I know you're right. You point scoreboard. I get it.
And Nick Foles got on another run last year. If the ball doesn't get through Alshon Jeffrey down at the Superdome, I think the Eagles get back to the Super Bowl last year.
But it's a different setting. He's not with the Eagles no more. That's
right.
what it is. These guys leave these teams, and you expect the most. And, when you guys start talking through the list and you mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo, it, hit me like a Mike Tyson punch. The genius of all geniuses, Bill Belichick. Of course he was going to say this is the next protege. This was the guy that I'm upset about. He probably wanted to get rid of him. It wasn't something he was torn to do.
I don't think so. I'm not buying that one, Bo.
I always thought that. I thought that, but now that you guys make the list, it's just like, Belichick is never going to, hurt himself. And, he always makes out. He's that guy, no matter how happy you are, you might think you're getting the best deal. At the end of the day, he's just giving that, kind of smirky grin and kind of just, collecting, more rings for his fingers. But I think, but it goes back to the Bears should be a Super Bowl contending team, and they will not be that without Trubisky being the guy. So when I look at that list, how can they? If Mitchell's not going to be successful, how are the Bears going to be successful? And I bet if they pulled every one of those GMs, they're probably going to be. I know they have Aaron Rodgers won, but I would think most of them would probably put the Bears winning in the NFC North. So that kind of contradicts the idea that he's going to be the 25th best quarterback.
I'm with you. I don't think the Bears can be great without Trubisky being really, really, really good. Because don't forget, last year he was pretty good, not really good. The reason the Bears were so successful was their defense turned you over like crazy. And I think their defense is going to be really good again, although they lost their DC. But I don't think you can count on as many turnovers as they produced a year ago.
Yeah, and I think Trubisky will cut down his. I think he had 19 or 20 INTs last year, which is quite a bit.
Yeah, he had
for
a
quarterback. Yeah, but he was 30+ touchdowns. I knew his INTs were pretty high. And I think he'll cut down on those. Again, he's going into his third season, and I think the success around the team, and we talk about the scoreboard. Chicago's got all the arrows, pointed in the right place, and Ryan Pace has done a fantastic job of putting that team together. And again, between him and Chris Ballard last year, I had a real toss-up between, deciding what GM I thought deserved that award that they give out from the, Pro Football Writers, because I thought those two guys made such an imprint on these teams, kind of bringing them back to life. And I did give it to Ballard, but, that Pace deal for Mac, I just think people don't understand the magnitude of, what he did, and to bring a guy in like that, I just thought that was really probably the signature move of the season for any franchise. Barring free agency and everything else, the draft, if you can acquire a guy like that, and we see it in the NBA. Teams, if you can get a pro caliber guy like these free agents we see in the National Basketball League, that's what you want. And, Pace did it, and he brought the Bears, a defense that's pretty formidable, and you mentioned it. How many times did that defense bail that Bears team out last year? So, but Trubisky at 25, I think, again, I would have him at least 15, 16. I just think that's a fair assessment. I'd put Garoppolo below him.
For sure.
I'd even put Wentz below him. Wentz, the guy can't stay healthy.
But let's talk about some of the veterans at the top of that list. And a lot of times that veteran quarterback on his way to Canton, he's had the career. A lot of times there's not a warning light of it's over. It just hits. The engine just dies.
Look at Peyton at the end.
He
started that year incredible, and then midway through, something happened.
It was over. Which one of these four veteran quarterbacks could the warning light not come on? The engine just locks up. Give me which one most likely of these four: Brady, Breeze, Roethlisberger, Rivers. That week 9 we go. It's over. He doesn't have anything left.
I would say Ben, just because Ben's so beaten up. I think he's taken, and I think that's his physical way of playing. He does like standing in the pocket. He has a thick frame compared to the others. But I think if any of them, and the thing I think for Steelers fans is, he's been relatively healthy the last couple of seasons. He hasn't missed much time. And, I think that's the one thing. He's always due for a few games. But I would say Ben. I think, the way he plays, the injuries that he's had, for the most part, Brady, mean, absent of the ACL, but that had nothing to do with throwing motion. And
Long
he's
time
way
ago.
past that. Yeah, that was a long time
Changed the
ago.
rules.
That's-
It changed
yeah.
the rules of the game.
Yeah.
You can't go. It'd probably be smart to. You don't want your stars.
You have
not
to
in there.
protect those guys.
You do. Because
Absolutely.
If you go, if these networks are going to pay this freight and fans, we're going to pay these ticket prices. We don't want to go out there and watch Brian Hoyer.
No.
No,
we
you
don't.
You don't want to watch
We're
Landry
just
Jones
talking
and
about
then,
we finally have some depth at QB, and you need to keep it.
And it's not putting a dress on them. I'll tell y'all, I got a friend who's really tight with. I'm not, but this friend is really tight with Terry Bradshaw, and everything on Terry Bradshaw has been busted up and broken many times. And if he could play by these rules now, Terry Bradshaw approaching 70 would be in a lot better health than he's in.
No doubt.
And why are we making them
And maybe
cripples?
And maybe Terry Bradshaw lasts another 4 or 5 years.
Right. And brings a lot of pleasure to people watching games.
It absolutely does. It just makes you closer to your team,
I don't
to your
think
brand.
it's putting a dress on them. I think it's smart business.
No, I agree.
And makes sense not to see somebody brutalized.
Your answer to your question, I'm with Bo. I think Roethlisberger would be the first one. Rivers
I'm gonna go off
2,
grid.
Brady 3, and Drew Brees 4.
Dave, I don't know how we managed to do this, but we do on about every issue. I'm going Breeze first. And I'm not so sure the tank wasn't running out a little bit last year.
No, I agree with that. Yeah,
down the
Breeze
stretch.
was falling a little bit.
He was. He was stumbling just a smidge. It was almost not even discernible. Well, I'm not saying that I've got some fine eye that I saw it.
He should have been around the head.
He should have been, but he didn't.
It wasn't his fault.
And he could have lost to the Eagles.
Yeah, that offense, I mean, that team, I mean, what it was scoring at that one point, they had that huge game against the Bengals, and then they whooped Philadelphia, 2 back-to-back games. There was a huge scores, and then that offense really kind of just fell apart after that.
Well, the one thing I'll give you on your Breeze argument is stature. You got to be quicker when you're short like he is, and he's going to be the first one to lose that that edge.
Are we ready as a collective football world that we are? What if it's Brady and what if it's early in the year? What if it's just nothing? Week 5, he doesn't. And I don't think that will happen.
If it happened, the one guy that would pull the legend is Belichick. He would just say he can't do it.
Brady, they'd have to get the state police to take him out of there.
And if that did happen by week 5, the rest of the NFL who doesn't root for the Patriots, they would
be
rejoice.
Celebrating.
I mean,
VE
it would
Day.
be I mean, it would be like a holiday for National Football League fans if you don't root for the Patriots and like Tom Brady. I mean, to think that the King of Kings has finally met his end. And especially if it was early in the season. I mean, that would be a talk, and then then you could just imagine if Garoppolo is successful in San Francisco, the irony of getting rid of Garoppolo and so quickly and breaking
I'm more of a believer in Garoppolo than you are. That's for sure. I'll take Garoppolo. You take Foles.
I'll take a Super Bowl.
We take the break. Bo, thank you much. We appreciate it.
Man, hey, guys, have a fantastic week.
You got it, man. Thank you.
Bo Marchant, collegetopro.com.
Now, let's remember this July 23rd conversation. And nobody said it. We were just speculating about if, maybe, possibly, could, should, would happen. We're talking about Brady maybe hitting 0.
Yeah.
Let's remember this when he's in the Super Bowl in Miami come February.
Well, I didn't say. I said Roethlisberger. You went Breeze.
No, I went Breeze. If one of them would do it, I don't want any of them to do it because they've been great for the league. But I'm ready for Andrew Luck. I know he was hurt for a long time, but isn't there a lot more persona around him than actual wins? I know he doesn't play defense.
I agree. But these guys believe in him because these are 55 execs that said fifth best quarterback. I wouldn't put him below 8 or 9, but I don't know that he would be as high as 5. This portion of the show brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, where you get assurance. You get the best product. It's not just Homer Skelton Hyundai. It's Homer Skelton Genesis as well. And they're doing more with Genesis, and more products are coming online, or I say coming online. They're coming there. And they're going to be building out the building and splitting it in two, and you won't believe the plans they've got coming because they're so good at what they're doing. It's the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. And by the way, #1 certified pre-owned dealer in Memphis, 11 years in a row. 11 years in a row. That tells you how good they are. All you got to do is get on Lamar. You'll see what I'm talking about. Get to Homer Skelton Hyundai Lamar and Craft Road, first exit in Mississippi. You'll see really all the great deals. We're back in a minute. We're giving away a whole bunch of stuff in about 15 minutes. Come in and register while you can. Check out the Riverset Rye. Check out the bourbon. We got a tasting going on. It's a good time at the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick. Back in a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Frontier Western Store's world-famous boot showroom is waiting for you. With aisles and aisles of boots in one easy spot, you will find your next favorite pair at Frontier. Everyone loves Ariat boots, and Frontier has over 1,000 pair in that brand alone. Come grab a pair of rugged work boots like the Workhog, or discover an everyday classic in Ariat's Rambler. Tons of other brands as well: Rocky, Dan Post, Red Wing, Durango, Justin, Twisted X, and many more. Frontier constantly restocks and refreshes their lineup of boots, so you're certain to walk out of the store happy in your new comfortable footwear. They have a wide assortment of sizes available for men, women, and children. Work, dress, or play, Frontier's knowledgeable staff will cheerfully help you find the perfect fit. It's boots galore at Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road, Olive Branch, or on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated, you know it, since 1967.
I love the real estate business. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. I've been selling real estate a long time. What I love is having people ask me how some houses sell so quickly and others sit. That's an easy answer. Any agent can sit and tell you what you want to hear. I tell you what you need to know. I give you options and alternatives. I'm a firm believer in preparation, presentation, and proper pricing. We discuss that and my unique Shellbucks option. Beating your competition down the street or around the corner is the name of the game. So if you or someone you know is thinking of selling, talk to 2 to 3 real estate agents and make sure that I am one of them. Find out why my strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option can mean the difference in whether you sit or sell. You'll find out why people often say when you want the job done, call Shell Done. You can reach me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Shell Done Rosengarten. 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf with their sizzling summer savings specials. Look for hot deals on items like TaylorMade TP5 Picks golf balls, now 2 dozen for only $80. Cleveland CBX wedges for only $99.99. That's a $30 savings. And save up to $200 on Rogue irons. Just a few of the hot specials you'll find now at Edwin Watts Sizzling Summer Savings. Edwin Watts, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, serving golfers since 1968.
The Acura Summer of Performance event is going on now at Acura of Memphis. Test drive one of our award-winning models today, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore. It should be an adventure. Advance your drive today. Shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. The thrill is waiting at Acura of Memphis. Shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational is going down this week with the deepest field Memphis has ever seen. So to set it off right, we teamed up with a Memphis tradition like no other. East End Bar and Grill, Miller Coors, and of course, we are inviting all the wonderful people of the Mid-South to come out this Thursday, July 25th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. to East End Bar and Grill to win tickets to the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational, plus free swag from Miller Coors and more. And always keep it locked to Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Here once again
are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. We are at the Spirit Shop. We're having a good time today. It's just amazing to me how much they fit into this place. It looks little on the outside,
including
not so.
this big crowd we've had.
Well, we've had a great crowd. We're giving away stuff in about 15 minutes. We'll give away $50 to the butcher shop. Then after that, we will give away 2 pair of tickets to Sunday's final round of the WGC FESJI. In the meantime, part of the fun we're having here today has to do with a tasting. We are tasting rye and we are tasting bourbon. And all you got to do is come in and check out your palate. One's 3 years old.
Rye crowd over here. Everybody else over here. Blue Note over here.
One's 9 years old. Blue Note is 9 years old. Let's see if they can figure that out. I know one guy that can is Macaulay Williams. He is the president of Big River Distilling Company. That's the company that makes the rye, that makes the bourbon. And we have had a bourbon explosion, I think, in about the last 10 or 15 years. How did all this happen?
Yes, sir. We've definitely seen an increase in American whiskey sales and popularity. I'd say in the last 20 years, if you really study the numbers. I think it's a social phenomenon bigger than just the whiskey industry. We've seen the rise in the 80s and early 90s with craft wine.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming in after that, you have the kind of the craft foodie movement, which somewhere in the 90s, early 2000s. Also, that's right around the genesis of the craft beer movement. I think people are just really liking to expand their palates and wanting to go on more experiential trips, whether that be an actual trip or tasting a product. People are getting bored with the same old flavors. And so, whiskey is a lot like red wine or a craft beer in that every whiskey, whether it be a rye or bourbon or different brands, has a much different flavor profile than the competitor next to it. And we've seen a huge rise in whiskey geeks that like to analyze those different flavors.
Macaulay, I've loved the creativity, the good old-fashioned American entrepreneurial spirit in it, whether it was, you mentioned the craft beers or the wines and now the whiskeys, the vodkas, anything of, I can do better than that. I can top that. I can make something better than that.
Absolutely, and it's important to remember, whiskey, American whiskey, bourbon specifically, is much different than vodka, which is designed to be tasteless, flavorless, and odorless. Bourbon is the only uniquely American form of alcohol. So a lot of people are confused and think bourbon has to come from Kentucky. It actually can come from anywhere in America. So that includes Tennessee. So we have our Blue Note bourbon. It's just a Tennessee bourbon, not to be confused with Tennessee whiskey.
I was just going to bring that up because when I think about the bourbon particularly, I think that bourbon trail on your way to Louisville, you go through, or Lexington, and you're going to do a bunch of that. Where in Tennessee are these products made?
These products are made right here in Memphis, Tennessee by Big River Distilling. And like you hit on earlier, the age statements, the Blue Note is a 9-year age-stated bourbon. You'll see a lot of age statements removed from bourbons these days. We proudly state it. It's taken a long time to get there. We launched our product finally after aging for a while last summer. The Riverset Rye is aged 3 years. Rye whiskey ages a little faster than does bourbon. The rye is going to have a lot spicier, allspice cinnamon type note. The bourbon's going to have more of that vanilla, caramel, butterscotch.
Why does the rye age quicker?
Yeah, so bourbon, again, has to be made in America, but has to be made from majority corn. For whatever reason, there's a phenomenon of the corn distillate interacting with the oak. It just takes a little longer to mellow out. The high spicy notes in the rye complement with the sweet vanilla notes from the oak barrel. And for whatever reason, time and time again, it's proven that it just ages a little faster.
Did you ever think you'd be in the whiskey business?
I did not. I'm a mergers and acquisitions attorney by trade. Got into the whiskey business because I saw an opportunity.
Look at me now, Mom.
Yeah, look at me now.
So you're involved? Are you in the process? You understand the science and everything beyond it?
Yes,
so
sir.
Good. I can ask you this question.
I'd like to think I can.
You mentioned we've got wine, and we get a lot. Made Napa, Northern California.
Sure.
We have craft beer now, and we have a lot in Memphis. All these IPAs and all the different wonderful ways you can imbibe. Now we've got this right here in Memphis, rye and bourbon. What's the hardest process? Which takes the most expertise to make a great product?
Well, there's a saying in the industry that so there's 3 main phases to making a whiskey. You have distillation, maturation, and then blending and bottling. And there's a saying that says that distillation's a pure science. It's really actually run by people in lab coats with chemical engineering degrees. Mm-hmm. It's not some jolly fat guy in overalls chewing on a corn pipe. And then you have maturation, which is the natural phenomenon. It's the interaction of distillate and oak. You do not climate control whiskey barrels. You want them to get hot in the summer, cold in the winter, and in between in the fall and spring. So that's just nature doing its thing. Whiskey goes into the barrel as clear as water. So 100% of the color you see in a whiskey, whether it be bourbon or rye or even Scotch whiskey, is going to come from the interaction of that clear distillate with the oak. And around 70% of the flavor of American whiskey will come from the barrel. And then lastly, you have the true art form of it all, which is hard to really quantify, which is the blending process. So over the many years that a barrel of whiskey ages, it's picking up that color, it's picking up that flavor, and each barrel is going to develop a very unique flavor, much like a fingerprint. It has its own true personality. So to create a consistent flavor profile, we have to blend a number of different barrels together, taste a lot of barrels to determine which ones are going to complement each other.
Sweet job.
It's hard work, but somebody's got to do
Right.
it.
So the rye, it's only 3 years old, and it's $30 basically.
Yep,
$53, $53 for the bourbon. Is that because of the aging process and all the labor that is involved in
They
that?
just added a penny
Absolutely.
in there. I'm
Absolutely.
looking at the label and I'm seeing $29.99.
Believe me, after you pay taxes, buddy, it's up there.
That's not on Macaulay though.
Well, it's part of the process. So each year that it ages, I mentioned that it ages in non-climate controlled environments. We lose loss each year to evaporation called the angel share. So our stock or our inventory is literally evaporating into thin air. So the younger product, we literally get more bottles out of a barrel, and also it takes less time. And we all know the basics of economics, time value of money and everything. So
it's interesting. First time I've ever understood the difference in price between the rye and the bourbon.
All right, more fun reading thick merger and acquisition law stuff for the taste testing.
I think I like the taste testing a little bit more. It's been a whole lot of fun, but like you hit on earlier, it is the entrepreneurial spirit that makes it exciting as we're building our team.
So
I'm
this
born
stuff,
and raised Memphian, so I'm proud to be doing it here in Memphis.
And this stuff is made in Memphis. So if I wanted to come see your distillery, I know it's at 802 Royal Avenue, which I'm not sure exactly where that is.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you give tours, you show people.
So right now we're not coded to be open for public tours, but we do invite-only tours. So if anybody wants to come, they can reach out and we can schedule something. It's mostly industry-only, but happy to invite down others.
Great. Have you had a lot of action here? It seems like a bunch of people have come
Yeah,
in.
we've had a lot of action. Memphians have been really supportive. We're distributed across Tennessee and Georgia right now, about to expand. So far it's going really well.
I see John Harden and Gabe Kuhn here, so I just want to be sure as we get off here that there are limits to how many tastes you can have. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, here's what I want to – are you in the airline-size bottles where they can go in a boot at SEC Stadium near you yet?
Well, so right now we're just doing 750s or fifths, as they're colloquially known as. But we will be expanding into smaller sizes for personal carry
coming to college football soon.
Is this it, too? I mean, is there more to the line besides the rye and the
We
and
do
the bourbon?
some private labels for local groups and groups abroad, but we do have some other brands coming out that we're excited about, but we're not quite ready to release yet.
Any other vodkas or spirits of
right now
different?
we're sticking just to the whiskeys, so we'll be doing a couple of other bourbons and rye whiskeys at different price points and ages, and we're also going to be doing an exotic cask finish series where we'll do port, rum, Madeira, sherry cask finished bourbons. That's kind of the hot new thing with all the whiskey geeks out there.
So how was it when you went to your parents and you said, I had this great education.
Are you a banker?
I'm really smart guy, but I'm leaving all
M&A's
this
out.
education to go make whiskey.
Well, my dad was a lawyer for 42 years. He thought I was crazy. And then my mom was not very happy about it at all. But then I showed them the business plan, showed them, through actual results, and I think they're all on board now.
It's working.
Great deal.
And they can tell I'm happier now, too.
Very good.
Great deal, Macaulay.
His name is Macaulay Williams. He is the president of Big River Distilling Company. You've heard a little bit about the science that goes into this. Now you know why rye is less expensive than bourbon. Come try it. You're here till 7?
Here till 7, yes, sir.
Okay. Just come through the door and you'll let them try them both, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you all for having us.
Thank
and
you.
Also, we've donated a couple of tickets, so be sure to the golf tournament.
Excellent.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
So
Very kind.
two tickets.
2 tickets
on Sunday.
You got it.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you much. We appreciate
All right, thank
it.
you all.
Thank you.
That is Macaulay Williams again from Big River Distilling Company.
We could do a draw now. You want to? What do you want to draw for?
Sure. Does that mean we have 3 sets of tickets for Sunday? Okay, so tell you what we do. CC, you dig in there. The first one we'll give is the tickets from Big River Distilling Company. So here's 2 tickets for Sunday.
We have to have email.
And they will go to Brett Check. And we've got his email. So he gets the tickets, and the $50 gift certificate to the butcher shop will go to Marv Conrad. Marv Conrad.
Butcher shop. Okay.
That's Butcher Shop. And we'll give away a couple more sets of tickets in just a little bit. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. I love talking about Ken because I admire his vision, because he sees little details, he sees big picture all at once. That's like a lawyer who went into becoming a distillery whiskey maker. You got to have the vision to see how it all works. You got to know the little details. And boy, does Ken ever do that. And if you go to KenGarland.com, you'll see all the houses that he or his dad have built over the last 40 years in the Metroplex. Or maybe it was a renovation. I call a renovation with innovation. We're talking quality. We're talking all the modern amenities into an old home that you wanted to keep. All you got to do, again, is go to KenGarland.com, take a look, see what I'm talking about, and call Ken, a guy that is a complete build and design firm. He's with you all the way. Doesn't send a super or foreman. He's a guy that will be there every day, and he'll be, as I like to say, with you from the concept, the blueprints, all the way to when they nail in that final hammer in that final nail, I should say. 751-1632, that's the number. Go give him a call. If you got a question about land, he's got it. Or if you trying to figure out what to do with it, he's got the knowledge. 751-1632, Ken Garland Custom Home Builders.
I know we got tomorrow to look at it, and then play starts on Thursday, but the tee times are set. Here's a really fun one. Webb Simpson, U.S. Open champion. Danny Willett, Masters champion. Jim Furyk, U.S. Open winner in 2003. That's very attractive. That would move a lot of needles a lot of years.
And Jim Furyk, by the way, is 49 years old. This may be the last time you'll see Jim Furyk here. He was talking, and he wasn't trying to put down TPC Southwind at all, but he was talking yesterday about his affection for Akron, where the Firestone WGC event used to be. That was there forever. And Memphis got that when Firestone really went out of the golf business. We're the recipient of that. He was saying that they will have at Firestone a senior event, and he's looking forward to being reunited with that. He thinks he's going to love this golf course, but he's 49, so it could be the last chance you get to see him.
Of Akron. 21 groups, 12 of the 21 feature at least one major winner in it. So about everywhere you turn, you'll see big names. I mentioned, I think probably the primo grouping: McIlroy, Koepka,
That's
Jason
clearly,
Day.
That is clearly the best. If there's another one, it's probably, where's Dustin Johnson? I think he is. Where is he? Dustin Johnson is with Paul Casey and Justin Thomas.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Paul Casey's up there, best player to never win a major.
That is a great
one.
Great group.
Just everywhere you look is. I'd go see that. I'd go follow that.
How about Gary Woodland, John Rahm, and Xander Schauffele? I'd go see that in a minute. Patrick Cantlay, Mark Leishman, and Tommy Fleetwood. I mean that.
You want to do a few more drawings?
No. You want to take a break? Come back. We'll do that. And
we
then
can.
Do crunch time.
Very good. Let's do that.
Let's do that as quickly as we can. We do take this final break, but you don't have to take a break. You need to get right here for the tasting of
you pull in right now.
The
You can
rye
still enter.
and the bourbon until 7. You got a lot of time. Come on down. This is Sports Time live from the Spirit Shop. Poplar and St. Nick. You listen on Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Summertime and the living is easy. No more cutting or paying utilities. Literally, you guys, Town Village Audubon Park, nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $2,300. Gourmet Chef Joe welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free daily transportation, utility bills, monthly coffee club, theme, dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. The living is easy. Town Village Audubon Park.
Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
Looking good and feeling good? You've been to Rooster's Men's Grooming, the all-American classic barbershop. Whether boy or man, Sportster or professional, when service matters, Rooster's is the choice for all gentlemen. Rooster's Men's Grooming offers a full-service shave, precision haircuts, and more, all with top-of-the-line products and a truly professional atmosphere. They even remember your name and offer you a beer. When looking good and feeling good matters, relax and unwind at Rooster's Men's Grooming, Paragon Place, 6300 Poplar.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Wow. Tuesday.
Was that enough hand signals for you there, baby? I don't know what I was doing. I was pointing. I was pointing up.
I just, when he goes hot, I know I'm on. That
was a lot of hand signals.
That's okay. I'm doing well. I've had a good time here. I really like this place. Folks, if you really want to see unique, I think it's unique. A very different kind of place. It's got everything. It's got bargains and it's got premium, every kind of spirit. You come to the Spirit Shop, that little log cabin at Poplar and St. Nick. All right, so we got crunch time coming your way in a little bit.
Brett Check's won tickets. Marv Conrad's won a gift certificate to the butcher shop.
Gabe Kuhn, I want to put you to work.
Where's Gabe Kuhn? Come on in here, big Gabe.
Gabe, I want you to
reach down in there. You can't win.
First of all, you got to figure out how to open it.
Keep your hands off the whiskey.
Yeah. He's already had 3 shots.
No worse for wear.
And the winner of 2 tickets is Rusty Hostin.
Rusty Hostin.
Okay. One more.
Tickets
Gabe, you're not done yet.
Tickets for – let me have the ink pen, please. Tickets for Rusty. Thank you.
And our final winner of 2 tickets, again Sunday. We got to make sure they got their email address on there. Mike Driscoll. Mike Driscoll, who's just here. We just talked to him. Very good. Those are our winners.
Tickets for Mike as well?
2 tickets to the
All right. So we got all the winners.
And here's the Butcher Shop certificate, so you can keep everything together.
Good. Okay.
And that means we are all set.
We haven't broken anything.
No.
I almost did. Took out a gin bottle right when I came in, didn't I? Wagging my big laptop around.
Was there a doorstop for you to trip on there?
Well, Drew, you know how athletic I am.
Eddie Connor did say they
I felt terrible, too. Eddie was nice about it. And I don't know how it didn't break, Eddie. I'd been on the hook for a big jug of gin.
Well, no, you know what he said? He said the companies usually will take it back if it's broken. You'll be okay. He's got insurance, you know.
Good deal. That was a cheap shot, Drew. My dexterity of me tripping over the doorstep.
I'm sorry. I've seen you almost kill yourself 3 times tripping over that doorstep now.
I do think the little things on the ground, because, you live by yourself. Everything is always perfect, put in place. When you encounter other human beings with things
in bottles of gin,
the other thing is your recovery time is just not what it used to be.
No, it's not.
You used to be able to go,
used to be spry,
unfettered at all, and just boom, you're right back. Now you're slipping and sliding.
You know who's playing at AutoZone Park tonight? Matt Carpenter.
No.
Playing third base, injury
rehab
assignment at AutoZone Park tonight. I'm headed that way immediately.
Matt Carpenter's playing. I knew you'd be there.
I was going to be there anyway. I'm glad he's going to be there.
How about that?
I saw him years ago there.
Deal.
I didn't know if I'd ever see him back.
That is truly a good deal. All right, it is time. Without any further ado, it is time for Crunch Time.
This is Geraldo. It is Crunch Time.
You can feel the excitement.
You are looking live. It's Crunch Time.
Someone call someone because there's a cleanup on aisle 3 as a man is down.
In your life have you seen anything like that?
We'll take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
In the crunch time, that's the frustrating part.
Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
Has it always been this way?
It's crunch time, so I got a different mind state.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
He threw those ears forward. He was in stroke mode.
It's obviously crunch time.
It's time for Taco Bell Crunch Time, brought to you every day by Taco Bell, home of the Crunch Wrap, including the Crunch Wrap Supreme, a warm, soft flour tortilla that's filled with seasoned beef and jam-packed with warm nacho cheese sauce, with a crunchy tostada shell with sour cream, lettuce, and tomato. Then it's all wrapped up and grilled. It will fill up your stomach. It will fit in your hand, but it won't take a lot out of your wallet. Perfect on your way home tonight. The Crunch Wrap Supreme. You can only get it Taco Bell. Taco Bell is home of the Crunch Wrap, and each and every afternoon they bring us Taco Bell Crunch Time. Dave, I've learned today that Zach Greinke, he quite literally cannot be traded by Arizona. He eats up 28% of their payroll.
Wow.
And he's owed $83 million until 2021.
Wait. One guy on a 40-man roster is 28%?
25-man playing roster. He eats up 28% of it. Dave, Yankees and Dodgers can't take that on.
No.
That doesn't work for anybody.
Boy, that's crazy.
What did you learn today?
Well, I learned today from you. Thank you for bringing this bearing sheet. But we got Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, and Jason Day.
I think that's about the least I did all day.
At 12:59 on Thursday. And then right before them are Justin Rose, Matt Kuchar, and Jordan Spieth.
Dynamite, isn't it?
How about that for back-to-back? Now, I got to ask you this. I don't understand. Why would the Commercial Appeal run 2 stories today that I don't quite get, really? The first was Matt Kuchar from February and is being cheap with the caddy from the WGC Mexico when he won. Why? Why did that was February. And the other was a story about John Rahm when he was playing with Dustin Johnson in the PGA and he slipped off in the woods and TV caught him literally using the bathroom.
Yeah.
Why did they rerun those stories?
I don't know. Ask them. I'm not sure.
We'll have to ask somebody tomorrow when we see him out there.
Yeah,
I don't get that
I'm
at
not
all.
sure about it. I do love the pairings that are out. We've talked a lot about. We'll talk about it a lot tomorrow for Thursday and Friday. So many stars to see. I just think people are going to so enjoy this event. What is you could have done with that? You could have done without those 2 stories, couldn't you?
Well, I could have. But,
what else?
But this Damian Lillard and now DeMar Rosen, they have decided they're not going to be on Team USA. So I don't know if this is Greg Popovich. I can't believe it would be. But now
I think it's maintenance. I think it's a lot of basketball, Dave.
8. They become the 7th and 8th guys that were supposed to be on Team USA that are no longer playing for Team USA in these FIBA World Championships.
Now, I know they do, but you respect their right to pass on this, don't you? It's their right.
Yeah, I do.
But
I'm saddened by it. And,
I am too.
And I
what
think
about next year? What about a year from right now when the Olympics start? If they pass on it, 1 year from tonight's opening ceremony.
Then they're crazy, and I'll tell you why.
For branding?
For my own personal branding and sponsorship opportunities, endorsement deals, which can be up to, we've seen guys in the NBA make $50 or $60 million a year. I would put that uni on. I'd want that uni on.
I think they should, but if they don't, I don't think they should be criticized for it. Just like at Ryder Cup time, if somebody says, I've had enough golf. I could have done without Jerry Rice in his entire NFL career, over 20-year career.
You could have done without his whole career?
No, he missed 18 games.
Oh.
Odell Beckham has missed 21 games in his first 5 years. You mentioned it yesterday. Yeah. Odell Beckham, you didn't say this, I'm going to say it. I think he needs to play ball. And I'm meaning this jokingly. Shut up and dribble. For Odell Beckham.
I'm with you.
You need to play ball.
He's a look-at-me guy. That's exactly what he is. What are you looking forward to seeing tonight?
I'm looking forward to going to AutoZone Park and seeing Matt Carpenter there, see if he can get back in the Cardinal lineup. I mentioned I think it's mostly not punchless, but it doesn't terrify anybody. Top of the order doesn't, middle doesn't, bottom it sure doesn't, but not many bottom of orders terrify many people. It's not a lot there. They are doing this without Yachty and kind of by committee at catcher with young Kisner and with Wieters. Wieters had a little pop. I just don't know if the Cardinals are really there for the long haul, so I'll watch that. Also, there are a few rookies still holding out in the NFL. It's slotted. This is the money you're going to get. There's no holdout anymore. The Bosa's have proved that. Last year, even Raquan Smith proved that. And the Redbirds tonight at AutoZone Park, they start a 3-game series against New Orleans. This probably will be the last time over the next 3 nights a professional baseball team from New Orleans comes through town. This is it this year for New Orleans coming here, and it's probably it forever with baseball on a professional level in New Orleans. They move to Wichita next year. A's, Astros in Houston. I'll be keeping an eye on Yankees at Twins. That's got to be the biggest crowds of the year for the Twins. What a Tuesday night for their tickets sales to have the Yankees there on a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night. Also, Yu Darvish against Mad Bum tonight late in San Francisco. And
that's the big game.
And a good Cardinal-Bucco matchup with Dakota Hudson against Chris Archer. The Pirates made the move last year at deadline time for Chris Archer. Will they this year? And what was Clint Hurdle thinking last night holding the review back? I thought he got jobbed on both.
Clint Hurdle in the last week has done a couple of things that have made me scratch my hair.
Scratch what? Your hair.
My hair. Are you getting up early tomorrow morning? You didn't mention this.
What we got?
Tour de France, bicycling. Come on.
The bike ride around France?
Cycling.
You know, some of it actually leaves France.
Well, it goes into the Alps, yeah.
No, it goes into other countries.
I know. Switzerland.
But I thought it was France. I didn't know it was the bike ride around kind of some of Western Europe.
You know, at some point in time throughout history, that was probably a part of France. It all counts. It's mountains, and it's hard.
You sure about that?
It's hard.
Only check your history.
Oh, go ahead. You can check it out.
Clock's ticking.
You love to do all that research. That'll do it for us. We want to thank Daryl Smith and Brent Beard and Bo Marchant. For all of you guys, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great night, everybody.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf with their sizzling summer savings specials. Look for hot deals on items like TaylorMade TP5 Picks golf balls, now 2 dozen for only $80. Cleveland CBX wedges for only $99.99. That's a $30 savings. And save up to $200 on Rogue irons. Just a few of the hot specials you'll find now at Edwin Watts Sizzling Summer Savings. Edwin Watts, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, serving golfers since 1968.
The World Golf Championships FedEx St. Jude Invitational makes its debut at TPC Southwind, July 24th through 28th.
Join me, Justin Thomas, when I defend my title at TPC Southwind. Tickets are on sale at WGCFedEx.com.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
The World Golf Championships FedEx St. Jude Invitational makes its debut at TPC Southwind, July 24th through 28th.
Join me, Justin Thomas, when I defend my title at TPC Southwind. Tickets are on sale at WGCFedEx.com.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
One thing I've learned over the years, no matter what you're buying, the smart thing to do is to buy from someone who sells quality products, delivers great personal service, and knows their business inside and out because they have over 2 decades of experience. When you're talking about insurance, it's more important than ever because you're counting on your agent to come up with a policy that's exactly what you need from a company you can absolutely depend on, be there when you need him, and save money all at the same time. When you deal with William Glass or any of their staff at the Glass Group, you're not only in good hands, you'll find out that you can put the money a lot of insurance companies spend on advertising on the World Series or college football or basketball in your pocket while you enjoy first-rate coverage on your home, auto, and business with things like rate lock on your car. So you're not canceled for a wreck or a speeding ticket. Guaranteed replacement on your home and contents, earthquake coverage, and outstanding rates for business on workman's comp, commercial auto, and any other business need you may have. Worried about mayhem? Call William Glass at the Glass Group, 843-1190. They'll handle it for you. 843-1190. When it comes to your pet, you want nothing but the best in boarding, daycare, and grooming, and we say thank you, Memphis, for voting Barks and Recreation #1 in Best Pet Grooming in this year's Memphis Most competition. We're also #1 in boarding with indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please while they're being cared for by the best staff in Memphis, one that includes overnight staffing to ensure the safety and happiness of your pet 24 hours a day. And we're #1 in daycare with indoor and outdoor play areas, individual and group playtime, 4 walks a day, and small play groups to make sure that your pet gets the individual attention they deserve. Make your reservations now at barksdaycare.com or call us at 901-509-0909. Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove, between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Did you know that paying a traffic ticket is an admission of guilt? It is, and it could result in higher insurance rates and add points to your driving record, which could result in your license being suspended or even revoked. It's amazing how simple things can turn into major problems, and it's why no matter what legal problem you may have, you need to know exactly what your rights and your options are. You need an attorney who is only interested in one thing, fighting for you, and I've got one for you, Chelsea Rainey. You can call her for a free, convenient phone consultation at 901-647-4861. Traffic tickets, driving while impaired, drug charges, misdemeanors, divorce. If you live in the Metro Memphis area and you've been accused of a crime, you need to speak to attorney Chelsea Rainey about your options and your legal rights. Chelsea Rainey is dedicated to advocating and protecting your rights. Your initial consultation is free, and attorney Chelsea Rainey is always on call, always available at 647-4861. That's 647-4861.
You finally found it, the vehicle of your dreams. You know it's got everything you want, you just don't know the price. Until now, shop one price pre-owned vehicles today at AutoNation Ford Wolf Chase. Now, every pre-owned vehicle is clearly marked with our lowest price, guaranteed. That means no negotiations, no pressure, just one low price. And every certified AutoNation pre-owned vehicle is inspected in 125 different places, so there's no worries. Plus, your purchase is protected with a money-back guarantee for 5 days or 250 miles, whichever comes first. And as America's largest automotive retailer, you can shop one price pre-owned vehicles from over 250 stores coast to coast. That's something you can count on. Shop over 20,000 one price pre-owned vehicles at AutoNation.com or visit AutoNation Ford Wolf Chase. Drive pink, drive safe, drive now. AutoNation. Certain terms, conditions, and restrictions may apply. See store for complete details.
Southern Sports Report is being brought to you today in part by Gateway Tire and Service Centers, where there's always one thing you can count on. We go the distance for you. So before you hit the road for a trip across country or just across town, drop by any one of our 12 Memphis area locations. Whether it's tires or auto repair, you can always count on one thing. At Gateway Tire and Service Center, we go the distance for you.
Memphis Sports Radio welcomes you to the following presentation of Southern Sports Report.
The following program contains frank and honest commentary on sports. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Gateway Tire and Service Center's Southern Sports Report with John Rainey, the Rain Man, and Whitey Mills with Stat Attack Sports in Springdale, Arkansas. You can join the show by dialing 360-8255. Can't get to a phone? Email us at theboys@southernsportsreport.com.
Southern Sports Report is being brought to you today in part by All-Star Sports, celebrating 41 years of excellence in sports handicapping. Van Atkins Jewelers in New Albany and Oxford. Why Van Atkins? Because you know she's worth it. Barks and Recreation, luxury doggy daycare and boarding in the heart of East Memphis. Voted #1 in Memphis Most 3 years in a row. And of course, Gateway Tire and Service Center. At Gateway, we go the distance for you.
Phone lines are open, and first-time callers are welcome, needed, and appreciated. And now, live from the All-Star Sports Studios, here's John Rainey, the Rain Man, and Whitey Mills.
And welcome back to Southern Sports Report. I am your host, John Rainey, the Rain Man. It is the Tuesday, July 23rd edition of the show. Mr. Drew Barrett's on the other side of the glass. He's waiting on your phone calls, 360-8255 or 888-360-8255. You can email us, the boys, at southernsportsreport.com. Fresh from the park, hopefully, and a great day. Mr. Whitey Mills with Stat Attack Sports in Springdale, Arkansas. Mr. Mills.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello. I'm here.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I never have figured out why they picked that guy for that commercial.
I can't either, but he's making a lot of money at it.
I bet he has.
Yes, he has.
Man, how was the park today?
The whole day was absolutely unbelievable. Karen and her cooking staff deserve major league kudos. Can you imagine fixing a breakfast of scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, hash browns, biscuits and gravy, and blackberry pancakes for 170 people? Now, they only scrambled 30 dozen eggs. Wow. I can't even describe how. 60 dozen? Oh, she said she's in the kitchen. She says 60 dozen.
60 dozen. I couldn't make 170 biscuits.
Well, yeah, and think about the number of hash browns you had to fix. I mean, it was absolutely unbelievable. The people just absolutely loved it. We have a group of folks both at the church and at the park who really like breakfast, and so we're fixing about once every 6 weeks. And they just did above and beyond the call of duty today. I mean, they got there at 8:30, and they were cooking until we closed the doors. I mean, it was unreal.
You ever think about just opening a restaurant and forgetting all this other stuff?
Well, basically for a day a week, we are a restaurant. It's just that simple. And again, I get back to the thing started on the 15th of June 2010, and on that day, about 10 or 15 people came in and were given a brown paper bag with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a piece of fruit, and that's from those beginnings we're now doing what we're doing today. It's just the pantry was just unbelievable today. We had so much incredible produce, such a wide variety of good produce. It was just, we had two different people. I always go and pick up my friend and Helen and my 98-year-old girlfriend, and I always take her back to where she lives. And so when I was coming back from taking her home, a guy stopped me as I walked back into the church, and he says, "I want you to know that you have the best organized pantry and lunch service of any organization around here." And that makes you feel good. And apparently someone had said the very same thing to Karen inside. So it's nice to know that people are appreciative for our efforts, and especially on a day like this. I mean, Karen just absolutely just nailed it today. And I can't describe how much food they prepared today, and they all have to be just dog-tired. They just have to be dog-tired now. So big turnout at the church, big turnout at the park, beautiful day in the park. It's interesting in the park. We kind of roll over. We get a group in, we get them assisted, and they start making progress in their own recovery, and then we have new ones come on. So we got a newer crew now that's at the park, needing our services and responding very well to our services. I have great expectations that we'll have some success stories out of this newest crew that has shown up at the park. So, all in all, other than the fact the best day would be if we had nobody show up, well, which is not going to happen in my lifetime, but it's a situation that because we had the people show up, we were there to help them, and they just truly enjoyed the meal we prepared, and hopefully enjoyed our banter back and forth also.
I think it's all amazing. I mean, I just keep hearing it, and been hearing it for, well, almost as long as you've been doing it, Whitey. You stop and think about that.
Yeah. It's insane. We have a fellow who works with us periodically, and he was asking me questions about the organization, and some very good questions, by the way. And in the end, about half of the questions I had to answer